Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men in power want? More power.
And now, broadcasting live on GMN from an undisclosed location in the Arizona desert. Italian by birth, American by choice. Songwriter, poet, freedom activist, Luca Zanna with Love, Guns, and Freedom.
All systems go.
Don't tread on us. We're not afraid.
Hi everybody, this is Luca Zanna and you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. This is a recorded show, by the way, today, because right now, just to let you know, it's night. It's night and I am not in my regular studio. I am outdoors in the middle of Kingman, Arizona, and I'm under the stars, and I'm staring at the stars, and I'm in front of a place, a special place, that now I'm going to walk in, because I'm going to find out pretty much what's going on. Not anymore on this planet, but in the blue, deep blue space, deep space. Yes, I'm going to right now to knock at the doors of the observatory here in Kingman. It's a private stars observatory owned by a very interesting man, Paul Flores. And I will have a conversation with him, not just about his observatory, but also about what's going on the moon, and a lot of other interesting things, like, for example, are there really underground bases here in Kingman area, Mojave County? And what's going on really on the moon? And who's really behind everything that we do not know? Because remember, every time you have information about the space, most of the time you are pretty much given controlled information by agencies from the government. Today, thanks to the technology, computers, and of course also this very powerful but affordable telescope, we have people like Paul Flores that pretty much can tell us things that normally we're not being told. So let me just go to introduce myself to Paul. Let me knock. I'm in front of his door. Hello.
How you doing?
Hi, Paul. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Perfect. So we're here. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. I am here at the place that I've been watching on YouTube and also on the Facebook, because we're also Facebook friends with Paul Flores. And I tell you, it's kind of magic because, first of all, it's night and the sky here is dark. It means, there are not many lights like normally in many other parts of the world, especially in this part of Kingman. It's pretty dark. So it's perfect. And there is a lot of questions. First of all, I like to always, this first hour of the show, it's about freedom. And I say the most beautiful thing I think we have, it's freedom to try to do things, to explore, sometimes even to risk, and sometimes even to fail. By the end of the day, we always win because we try new frontiers. And you're an interesting guy. I've been following you, Paul, not just as a businessman, but also the way now you're creating this new opportunity with the world to share what's going on out there, outside this world. This telescope that you have, this computer system that is amazing now, all connected. Tell us a little bit, first of all, a little bit about you. How did you get into this interesting, I don't even want to call it any more hobby. For me, this is like a real activity. How did you get into this?
Well, I've always been interested in space, and I've been looking through telescopes most of my life. My business took a crash when the economy dived, and I was looking for something to do. I had a little bit of savings, and I needed a vacation, and I kind of fell into this doing my old political YouTube channel, which led into doing the telescope live streaming. And I just got tired of watching events that are supposed to be live events, and then right when something happens, NASA cuts you off. They always cut you off, and you're left hanging like, what's going on? What happened? Something amazing looked like it was about to happen, but they cut us off. And that's why I do this, because I won't cut you off. If something flies through the telescope, we're not going to cut the feed. We're going to follow the object. We're up there looking for things, you know, and I'm trying to share views because when I look through a telescope, it's an emotional experience for me, and it's emotional for other people as well. But most people don't know. They never look up. They're so fixed and focused on daily life. And that's my main slogan right there. If you're always looking down, you'll never know what's up. And there's a lot up there if you want to take the time and look up there. And, you know, a lot of people, they can't afford it, or they don't know how to use the equipment. They can't operate the equipment. And, you know, I just want to give it to them for free. I want to share with people my passion and what I like to do, because I know that there's so many people out there that want to do it, but they don't have an outlet for it. There's no platform.
Perfect. And before we go ahead, and I also will post a link on today's show on my website, www.lovegunsfreedom.com. When you go to today's show, there is a page, and you will see there is a beautiful link directly to, first of all, Paul Flores' YouTube channel and also his Facebook page, so you can be in contact with him. But let's say right now, spell it out. How can people, first of all, find you, and more important, how can they find the channel of this beautiful observatory?
The observatory channel runs live 24/7 on Ustream TV. You could find that ustream.tv/channel/TREE0MIGHT, Tree of Might, spelt with a 0. The YouTube channel is just youtube.com/DarkSkyWatcher74. Any one of those sites, you're always going to know what I'm doing. And like I said, the Ustream channel is live 24/7. We run chemtrail monitoring cams during the daytime, and we do the meteor monitoring cameras and the live telescope at night. So we're always live, and we're always accessible.
Perfect. So this is, first of all, of course, the radio, we cannot show you things with your eyes. You got to go through the internet and do yourself. But at least we can start to give you some information how to find these important feeds, because this is for me like, you know, we try to find sources, and we try to find sources that are not controlled by any agency or by any government. Now, normally during my show, you know, I talk about things that we can all see and touch. It is in our reality. You know, we talk about the Federal Reserve, about taxation, about how there is no difference between Republicans, Democrats. Really, at the end of the day, when you go in Washington, they're working for the same masters. We're talking about different things that they are really part of our reality. But I really believe that sometimes, like Paul was saying, we focus too much on just what is in front of our face. And like something, you know, when I was in Italy, there was a little proverb, you know, you put a finger in front of your face and say, what do you see? Oh, a finger. And behind there is a mountain. So if you focus too much, too close to one thing, you lose the bigger picture. Exactly. You know, so I'm trying to look and reconnect all these dots. And more important, you know, I'm telling you, there are a lot of things that I believe that is part of our reality, because the way sometimes you see all these completely out of control, billions and trillions of dollars missing. I mean, let's not forget that just the day before 9/11, Secretary of Defense Rumsfeld, there is a video out there on YouTube, and maybe people didn't have a chance to watch it, but he was pretty much laughing, and he was smiling and said, sorry, I don't know how many trillions of dollars they were missing, or half trillion. Do you remember the YouTube about Rumsfeld?
I haven't seen that.
Okay, if you go, it's something interesting. There was like a huge amount of money. I'm talking about almost $1 trillion missing. And all you have to do, go to YouTube, put Rumsfeld, that the day before 9/11, missing billions of dollars. And there is this short speech where, you know, Rumsfeld is asked, where are all this money? Oh, sorry, we don't find them. And by accident, of course, I'm being sarcastic, the day after, whatever thing pretty much hit the Pentagon was exactly the office that was working on tried to make some sense out of this missing.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they crashed that right into the department trying to figure out the budget. I know what you're talking about. Good. Okay, yeah, they were missing a lot of money on that one, and they just didn't know what to do. And it was time to come out publicly with numbers. And how are you going to hide that? Well, let's just blow it up.
Yes,
that's what you do. You blow it up.
You know, guys, I'm sorry. If you still believe that there was an airplane there hitting that Pentagon, two things. Or you need some help, and I'm not trying to be mean with you, or you really are afraid to face the truth. Because, listen, even my dogs understand that there is no way, first of all, there is no even evidence of any remaining part of a 747, whatever it was, a huge airplane with two titanium engine fitting in originally 15 feet hole or whatever it was. I mean, so small. And look, if you really want to believe the crap that all this gasoline, special gasoline, look what happened to the towers. There is still paper flying around. I mean, there is no even. Seriously, guys, watch that video of Pentagon and you understand that there was not an airplane. But now, why we connect this to what we're doing here tonight? Because when we start to see that there are, unfortunately, black budgets, and there are a lot of money missing. It's our money, by the way. It's not the government money. It's we the people, we work, and we bleed for that money. This government is supposed to be accountable for every penny, and unfortunately, they call black budgets for a reason, because nobody really knows. Now, what do they do with these black budgets? Only God knows. We can speculate, of course. We can have ideas. And that's why we're here, because a part of this is going to be something we can prove, or at least we can start to ask questions according to evidence that we will talk right now. What's going on, for example, on the moon right now, okay? Supposedly there is nobody there. Supposedly only the Americans made it, supposedly. Is it really true? Now, and also what's happening not just on the moon, but underground, under our floor, especially here in Mojave County, that they've been voices for many years, since the Cold War, we have underground bases. Why? What's going on? So let's start first of all to talk with Paul Flores regarding, all these years that he's been doing this activity with the telescope. First of all, where do you point your telescope? Which part of the universe?
Well, first and foremost, what we do here is lunar monitoring. It's the closest body that we have in our solar system. It's our closest neighbor, and it's the least looked at object by astronomers, by mainstream astronomy. Nobody really focuses on that. We lost all of our focus on the moon after the moon landings, or supposed moon landings, alleged moon landings. And, no one really looks at it, but it's right there. And with the things that you see, if you take the time and you look, and if you have patience, it's kind of like watching paint dry. You're going to watch the moon for a long time and you might not see anything, but then one day you're going to see something. Usually we catch a bunch of objects, and you'll see objects transiting between your telescope and the lunar disk, and you'll see them transiting across. Now you can tell whether those are man-made objects or birds really easy, or if they're not man-made objects. Your telescope has a certain field of view with your camera system that you're using, and focal reducers and focal ratio of the telescope, etc. And the time that it takes an object to pass through it is going to give us a little idea of what's going on with it. Birds, you can really see those. They're kind of out of focus, and you could just always tell that they're birds. You see the flapping of the wings. They're inconsistent in the flight path. Satellites are coming always on a nice straight trajectory, and they just kind of seem to float right through. Other times we get these really fast objects that move through the scope. Now, the ones that I'm really looking for are the ones that are just, they're pixel size, and they're so hard to see that you really got to be zoomed in and editing to even know that you filmed them. And these are the ones that I call the lunar surface objects. And I've filmed 3 in the 3 years that I've been doing it. I've had 1 million objects pass through the scope, but the ones that I'm really looking for, I've filmed about 3 of those. And those right there, when you get about that distance, 1 pixel is about a mile. So these objects are pretty decent size.
1 mile for pixel?
In the camera, yes. When the telescope shop breaks it down and they do all their math and they work their magic, they could tell you, the pixel array that your camera has, and they'll tell you for every single pixel in your camera at that distance that you were shooting, they can tell you exactly what the pixel is. So 1 mile is a pretty sizable object. And we're also looking for meteor impacts, stuff like that. NASA has telescopes and cameras on the moon 24/7, but you don't see a live feed from them. They keep you distracted with this HD Earth viewing experiment and the ISS camera. They keep you distracted looking right here at Earth. They don't let you look out at space. The last impact that NASA recorded, nobody heard about it for 6 months after the fact. And that's not how the public likes things. We want to be informed. We don't want you to sit around for 6 months and debate on whether or not we should tell the public that this event happened. Say there was a hailstorm of meteors that bombarded the moon.
Okay, let's start straight questions, because I'm ignorant in this way. That's why I'm here. I want to learn. And that's why I think it is so important to show nobody knows everything 100%. We all learn from each other. And I really believe that as much we are focusing always on DC or our state capital, and that's great. We got to do what we got to do. We're still here on this planet. But there is some other aspect that maybe we completely forget. Really, what's going on out there? And because there are things, in my opinion, I start to really have my own opinion. This, of course, I cannot prove it like I would prove that the Federal Reserve is private, but I can tell you there are some connections. And I had a guest in the past, like Jim Marrs, that I want to say this on the record. And he also said on the record, he said on our show when he was here on Love, Guns and Freedom a few months ago, Jim Marrs said that this author, this best book, this guy is incredible journalist, has a lot of credibility, as a best bookseller on New York Times several times. And his new book that he's doing, is writing, and he had this lady that she's probably one of the top top executives in the IMF, International Monetary Fund, okay? Talking about the bank of the bankers, this New World Order bank pretty much. And what she said on record, according to Jim Marrs, that the top level executives or the people that are in control of the International Monetary Fund system, they are not from this planet. And I wasn't trying to be funny like, okay, there's some sort of super cool people. No, they're really not from this planet. Now, from there, let's go back to planet Earth. Let's start to think, first of all, why the moon is so important. Why could be also so much interest of the government to try to hide a reality that could be scary. What do you think really is going on the moon, according to your experience, maybe personal opinion, and also what you've been learning in the last few years?
In my opinion, with everything that I've filmed, things that I've seen, and stuff that I'm still in the process of processing the images themselves to get a better look at certain things, there are structures up there. You can see geometrical structures and shapes, and that doesn't just happen on accident in nature. Nature doesn't create right angles, and it doesn't create perfectly straight lines. And when you look up there and you have a big enough telescope, you're going to get the magnification you need, and you could start to really, really see things. And there's a lot of theories out there right now that are floating around, and one is that the moon is a hologram, or that there's a holographic projection being projected over the surface of the moon to obstruct the view of whatever is there, so we can't see that. Now, personally, I don't think the moon's a hologram. The moon is there to me. It's a real object to me. But I think that we are hiding stuff up there. There is stuff up there, and I know we're hiding it up there. We've probably had people living on the moon for 30, 40 years. You talk about all those billions and trillions of dollars that go missing all the time, and that's probably one of the spots that it's going is exploration to the moon, or bases on the moon, bases on Mars. I think that we have things on Mars. I think we have bases on Mars already where we have people from Earth already living there, despite what NASA tells you. It's like the technology. When they tell you something's brand new and we look at it and we're so amazed with it and we marvel at it, we already know in the back of our mind that the government has stuff 40, 50 years more advanced that's not out yet. And it's the same way with all of our space programs as well. They tell you that we're doing one thing, but we're probably already pretty far out there. And, they just got to figure out a way to work it in.
There have been several influential people, also famous people. There's, for example, a guy that is, I forgot his last name, but anyway, people that have a lot of reputation to pretty much to lose, to risk. And this is the guy, probably you know him. It's a famous guy that he has pretty much a company of in the air industry, space industry. Anyway, the point is there are a lot of theories out there, and also people that have proofs that, first of all, the moon has already been conquered. It means people are living there. They are bases. And it's not just Americans, also other nations like China. And also there is another side of the moon that normally we don't see, the dark side of the moon. Yes. And there is something that, what do you think there? I mean, it could be possible that maybe there is another civilization living there.
Oh, most definitely. When you look at certain images on the moon, even on lunar atlases, you can see structures that you just jump out at you and say that that's not natural. You have towers on the moon. You have so many different things. You have craters that are allegedly made by an impact, but yet you have a mountain in the center of the crater sticking out above the crater rim. How do you get that? So I know that we have the technology, but I also believe that there is alien civilization more than likely living on the moon.
Even though I'm not an expert in this, I'm learning. I know that there are several astronauts that they went there during the explorations the last years, and they came back and they pretty much outspokenly said that there were presences, there were other beings, and they were watched, and there is just one lately on the news, I think it was a few weeks ago, came out with that. They were pretty much in eye contact with other pretty much specified form of life. And my question is now, do you have like a video, YouTube, that probably could be like almost the best of the best? I mean, the best of the things that we cannot understand. And I'm not talking about a video from some other sources. I'm talking about through your telescope. Like, because I know you got a lot of beautiful things out there. I saw some stuff that, wow. I mean, there are objects, like you were saying, that they seem like really they're flying. Yeah. And they're flying on the moon. But the only problem sometimes, for the person that is kind of always in a rush, it doesn't really have the focus on following every video you do, before he gets this top-notch evidence, maybe they need something that could be a little bit of summary, like, hey, 3 minutes, explain this to me. Do you have something like that?
Yeah, you could check out a video on my channel. It's called, I believe, UFO Mania. And it's just a few minutes long, and it's the beginning of a 3-hour broadcast that we did, and actually within the first few minutes of the broadcast, we caught so many amazing things. And one of the big UFO writers, I can't remember his name. I don't want to give the wrong name, but he did a big article on that thing, and they did all the calculations with the field of view and the size of the chip that we were using in the camera system and the focal ratios. They did all the math that they needed to do and figured out speeds and this and that. And they came to the conclusion that pretty much there's nothing that we make, and there's nothing living that's flying around, or nothing that we make flying around that can do those speeds, that would have been able to achieve the speeds that they did when they flew through our field of view. I mean, literally in my editing program, when I cropped and zoomed on them, I had to slow it down so much just to even get the cropping to stay with the objects. I mean, because they're just there and then they're gone. But I mean, there's fleets. There was a bunch of them, and there was 2 different passes that we had. Well, actually 3 different passes with multiple objects. Two of the passes we labeled UFOs. The 3rd pass we labeled a couple of birds. And we did have other birds and bats that we saw playing around on the lunar disk. When they fly between the scope, it just looks pretty. You see the bird flapping around. But that video right there is pretty amazing, and that's probably one of the best videos we put out. And that's got a lot of views on it right there. People seem to like the excitement in that one.
How many views did you get so far right now?
I think on that one right now, the short version of the video, I think, is 350,000 views, and I think the full version, the full 3-hour version, is somewhere around the same. So we're probably pushing 700,000 views total.
This is not the important thing why I'm here, I would like to remind to all of us how much, sometimes we feel powerless, sometimes we feel I have a family to feed, I'm here, I try to make a living. What can I do? I would like to help, I would like to spread what's going on, but what can I do? Guess what? Every one of us can do so much. They want to keep us down. They want to keep us in the state of almost fear, of course, and it's a more important thing that you think like you're hopeless. We are not hopeless. Paul is a regular guy. I'm here in his beautiful studio, but at the end of the day, it is something that every one of us, if you, of course, sacrifice, because, you need to make priority. Maybe that you don't go to Hawaii every other weekend. You choose how you spend your money, but guess what? It's reaching millions of people. Try to do something that I think is so important. And that's my point. Think about it. With just 2 YouTubes, you can reach over 600, 700,000 people. Who really needs the regular control media? I mean, I'm not trying to put down the regular local papers here, but I wish local papers would touch topics like this, because we're living, in my opinion, in Kingman especially, in a very important place that history, I'm talking about, we've been, it's like almost a crossroad, okay? And I'm not just talking about the aliens crash supposedly in the 50s, that there's a lot of also videos out there, maybe we can talk about that, but there is also a lot of activities here. I see movements of military, non-military, paramilitary. I've been witnessing a lot of strange things. I know that there are underground bases. I did researches. I monitor with different type of sources directly from the Cold War. Now, the point is, if somebody like Paul can pretty much start to do what he's doing, and I'm not saying that you gotta do the same situation, but think about it. We still have the internet. Before completely they're going to shut it down or control it. Use it, because we can really try to reach the rest of the people that needs to be reached. And think about it. I wish the local media would help to spread this information, but at this point, do we really need them? I mean, I'm not trying to put down the local paper, but guess what? 700,000 readers, I don't even think they ever had it in the last 10 years. So that's my point. Good job on this one, Paul. And let's talk a little bit now about, first of all, what do you think it's happening underground Kingman? You think there is some activity here?
I do believe there's activity here. I know that there's been a big increase in the military presence as far as in our airspace, the choppers going back and forth, and we see them regularly coming from the Wallapies going out towards Golden Valley, towards the area where you're at. And I've been noticing a big increase in that. Now, we have rumors of the base out here by the Wallapies, and then also one out by Wickiup. And on my aspect of it, from my research coming from the ufology field, I look at those as coming back from the crash that you were talking about, the 1953 Kingman UFO crash. And I think that those are the underground bases are directly related to that crash site. I've been in contact over the last 3 years with Harry Drew. He lives up here in the Wallapai Mountains. He's the main researcher on the Kingman UFO crashes. And I believe he's coming out with a new release coming out sometime this year, and he's going to break open the underground bases. He's going to try to expose that. And that's the second phase of the project he's been working on as far as the Kingman UFO crashes. I think that we have these tunnels out here, though, from these bases that connect Wickiup and Kingman. I think they also run out to Nevada, to Area 51. We're not that far from there. It's just a couple hours away. And when we're talking underground tunnels and bases, we all know that we're capable of making things that can traverse an entire state underground. We're perfectly capable of making those types of tunnels. And I think that we do a lot of transporting back and forth. What we're transporting, I don't know. But again, I want to lean towards the UFO aspect of it, because that's what I do. So, I don't have too much more information on the underground bases here. If anyone out there wants to research some of that, though, you could check out Harry Drew. He's at KingmanUFOcrashes.com. And he's got an amazing array of information out there, and it just opened your mind up to the Kingman area completely.
Well, this is very important, because I tell you, tonight I'm so excited. First of all, I'm learning a lot of things, and I like to meet this guy, because this is so important. Because I tell you, if you want to look at the big picture, and there is a big picture, and I know sometimes people think, oh, you're crazy, you're paranoid, whatever. I look at facts, I look at evidence, and then you know what? I cannot ignore all this evidence. I need to try to process it with my brain, okay? We know what's going on. We understand that pretty much the political parties, it's a joke. We know these governments do not respond anymore to the people. What they're doing is they're enslaving us. We are in bondage. They are pretty much keeping us in a situation that we are getting always more and more towards total destruction. And it's not just economic destruction. We're going towards World War III. Guys, this is being manipulated and created like was World War II and World War I. Now, who is behind this? People think it's just some bankers try to make an extra dollar. I don't think it's anymore about profit. They got all the money they want. They print money out of thin air. This is about control, and more important, to control, you need to reduce the number. And we are too many. And we know very well, I already put it out, according to different facts, Agenda 21, the control of the resources, the EPA, control of energy, control of water, control of your food that you can grow, control of us through vaccinations, like, Bill Gates. It's on the open. It's evidence. There is a video that you can see. It pretty much said that we must reduce the numbers, and one of the way they're going to control us is completely eliminate us through vaccines. Look at Ecoscience. We talk about that. It's a real book by John Aldrin. This guy works at the White House as a czar of science. So it's all there. Now, why? Who is behind? The point is we don't know for sure, but I tell you something. If I was another species, and I'm saying tonight something that I never said before. I always kept it very much on things that I can prove. And I have this evidence in front of me. But right now I also know that it's factual that we've been visited. Okay? It's factual that we know there is more than we know. Now, if somebody wanted to pretty much control this world, did you ever watch that movie from the 80s? That probably you did. It's called They Live.
Oh, yeah. Roddy Piper.
Yes.
The wrestler. Oh, yeah, that's a classic movie. And I think that movie hits it right on the head, man. It just nails it. And that's exactly what it is. Obey. They want us to obey, and they keep us in a state of dumbed down, like an induced coma, they keep you occupied with TV and shopping and everything like that. It's to the point where today's society, the only thing that we care about is waking up and getting on the internet and reading the latest news about Kim Kardashian, and that's nothing. What does that do? That's nothing. But see, that's how they have us programmed. I got to get the latest news on this, or I got to check my Facebook page. I got to tweet. I see people that they're glued to their phone tweeting all day long. Wake up. There's an entire reality going on in front of you.
And also, of course, there's no forget, the food, the fluoride in the water, the education system, that mostly is a re-education and dumb you down. Television, we know they keeping this some sort of almost stopping the development of your brain. But now there is another part of the movie that was for me so important. And the first time when I watched it, I was in Italy. I was a teenager. I didn't really understand it. And now when I came back to America and I started to do all this research and start to learn about this global government, the elite, and New World Order, there is this, at the end of the movie, this part where underground there is this big meeting room, conference room, where there are pretty much, the wealthy people, the rich people, the bankers, whatever they are, and then they're considered like some sort of upper management. And then there are these beings that they are not from this planet. They are some sort of another species. And what they do, they control us through our own governments, through our own corporations. And that's pretty much what I really believe, not just today, but in the beginning of the history of humanity. We've been controlled through governments by beings that they are not really from this planet, but they use us to, let's say, for example, tomorrow I say, the aliens come out and they say, we need to take your land. Guess what? I don't care if you're black, I'm red, he's yellow. We're going to join together and say, guys, we are human beings and we're going to stick together. And these bastards want to get our land and they want to kill us. We're going to fight back. Guess instead, if the government tell us, by the way, because we have a good reason to save the world, we must take your land. It's called Agenda 21. So people are going to say, hey, yes, we got to support the ecology. Oh, yes, you're against Bush. Oh, I'm against Obama. So we're going to fight each other. And instead, they're doing exactly what they're doing. They're pretty much enslaving us all. So this is my final theory, and I know this is the first time. It's very important, and it's my opinion, of course, and I will stick, first of all, I'm trying to bring you here every Sunday facts, okay? At the end of the day, I also must give you my opinion on some stuff. And I believe there is more than just all this evil, politics, corruption, Agenda 21. They want our weapons. Why? Because the slaves, the moment that they are disarmed, they are completely powerless. And they want to disarm the rest of the world. The rest of the world is already been disarmed. This is the last country, guys. That's why they want us so bad. What do you think about this? And the fact that all these politicians around the world, they are so obsessed to disarm law-abiding citizens.
Oh, I mean, with the way they're taking away guns, it's like they're going out of style. I mean, and you're absolutely correct. We are the last nation here that are allowed the freedoms to have the guns. I mean, I can go in the house right now and put my gun in the holster and take off outside and go to the store if I want. I don't even need a permit to carry it concealed here in Arizona. And, you cannot enslave an armed population. And that is exactly true. And that's why we have all the gun laws coming out. First, they want to take away 30-round clips years and years ago. They came and they knocked on my door in California and said, oh, well, you have these registered guns and you have these registered clips and we need your drum clip and we need this clip. Back then, I wasn't too active in being an activist. And so, you give them up. But that's how it all starts. And then look at where we're at today. The gun laws are so tight and they want to take them away from us absolutely 100%. And it never happened on my end. And I know I know a little bit about you. It's not going to happen on your end. You can't let them take your guns away here.
And the funny thing is, guys, we know very well, we are not naive, okay? I know pretty much where they have technology, even it was just the government, okay? They can pretty much could snuff us out in the middle of the night just with a drone, or maybe even just with a heart attack, 50 feet away or 50 yards away. But still, think about it. Regardless, they have all this technological advantage, okay? And they got all the weapons that we've been limited since 1934 with the first real National Control Act, okay, that we cannot have any more full automatic weapons. We got a special federal permit and all these little extra things like the silencer. They're still so afraid the law-abiding citizens even have these very primitive weapons. Because I tell you, when you think even the most accurate or the most powerful rifle that we can own as gun owners in America, regular people, compared to things that they can pretty much spray lasers, talking about, there is already out there lasers, okay? We're still talking with cartridges, black powder or smokeless powder. Meanwhile, they have lasers, but still, they're afraid of even us having some sort of guns. So that's why, and regardless, if that's what we can have, it's millions of us, and they understand that. That's why it's so important, guys, regardless of what you believe politically, the moment that left, right, center, we are disarmed, we all gonna perish. We all gonna be in bondage. And I tell you guys, people on the left, you should wake up, because tomorrow, let's say you got another Bush, okay? Pretty much, by the way, he's coming. You already know his brother is around. For us, but regardless, what do you think? Maybe now, because was Obama doing these unconstitutional evil acts, you were all comfortable because you think it was one of your guys. Guess what? Next one's going to be a Republican. It's going to get worse, or at least it's going to continue the same path. So you better start to understand that even you disagree maybe with the wars or these unconstitutional wars, you are for protesting peacefully, you are already labeled as a terrorist. On the left or on the right, doesn't make any difference. We all can disappear with the National Defense Authorization Act. So the last thing we have left in this country pretty much is a little bit of freedom of speech. Till you're going to listen to the show on the internet, on the radio, means that still we have a little bit of that. And then we have guns, at least in some states. So let's work together. Let's put our differences for a moment aside, because I think we are very much in big trouble here in front of us, much bigger than just some little bit of political differences on some other economic issue that, of course, they're important. Now, tell us a little bit about, first of all, whatever you want to tell me. I want you really having the floor right now.
Well, you just kind of caught me off guard.
Okay. Excuse me, I'm so excited, I'm kind of bumbling now. Area 51, I know you've been there several times, also with a person that I had the pleasure to be interviewed by, Mrs. Chavez, from New Mexico. Tell us a little bit, why do you go to Area 51, what's going on there?
Well, I mean, Area 51, it's just the iconic spot for UFOs. I mean, that's where we go. And, you know, that's the place that's been pumped up and hyped up. So when you think about it, and I want to tell you something about BLM in Area 51 here in a minute. But when you think about a place that's supposed to not exist and they claim that it doesn't exist for so many years, that always arouses curiosity. Not to mention the fact you go out there and you see absolutely amazing things flying around the sky. And I'm not talking about fighter planes. I'm talking about some real UFOs, real type UFOs. And it's absolutely amazing. And with you were talking earlier about BLM and their role in some of these things. And here's a little role that they are playing, I think, over there. Area 51 is the most secured airspace on this planet, other than the Pentagon. You can't fly over Area 51. You're going to get shot down. You can't get anywhere near it. You can't fly around it. You know.
Sorry to interrupt you, but you mentioned Pentagon and the most secure area. I'm almost laughing. Guys, what he's saying is true, but think about it, the idiocracy. The most secure space in the country, the Pentagon, and there was, of course, nobody to stop that huge, fat airplane going through if there was an airplane.
Oh, they have the missile defense systems there at the Pentagon. They should have went off, and if that was a real plane coming in, it would have never made it anywhere near it.
Let's go back
but
to that,
BLM. Right, so I'm sitting here in one of the most highly restricted airspaces in the world, and I'm doing a live broadcast, and here comes a BLM chopper flying right in. Wow. Oh yeah, I've still been trying to figure out, how does BLM get permission to fly in some of the world's most securest airspace? How do they do that? You know, so there's got to be some type of connections, you know, and we're talking about tunnels, and we're talking about UFOs and aliens and government running the aliens. And there is a purpose for BLM. You know, land is land. It's the earth. We all live here on the earth, you know, and as far as I'm concerned, what the ground that I'm standing on is as much mine as the ground across the street and the ground 100 miles away. It's all ours. You know, we live here. You know, so why do we have BLM here? You know, I think that BLM plays an intricate role in keeping people away from the hot spots, like right up here in the backside of the Wallapai Mountains. If you try to go back there, BLM is going to really, really harass you. And it's the same up there at Area 51. So, I mean, how are they just really flying around in that airspace?
First of all, they're part of the same family, you know, even, of course, the different branches, government to government. And I agree with you, BLM is pretty much to control the land, the access to the land. Mm-hmm. And you know very well, more and more, because of the plan of the international United Nations plan of Agenda 21, we humans, we're supposed to be pretty much relocated, according to Agenda 21, into these big metropolis, the big cities, and no more access to this completely untouched part of reality, like the wilderness. And why? Maybe there is more than just preserving the environment. Maybe they need to create another reality for somebody else that we're supposed not to even be in touch with. For sure, that's what they're trying to do, like they did a few months ago by executive order. No, even by executive order, it was exactly a low-level rank from the BLM of Nevada, Las Vegas. It just put on the Federal Registry an act. There was a script, 3 million acres in Nevada, exactly where the boundaries are, supposed to be off limits for humans. 3 million acres. This is just a bureaucrat working at the BLM. Not even the president, that normally, by the way, there are unconstitutional acts to do these executive orders. Even Congress would be unconstitutional. How can you just deprive the American people of 3 million acres of land that you cannot even anymore go there with your bike or walking or shooting or even just enjoying it? Something's wrong. They want to pretty much control these natural resources. For whom? I don't know. You said, you know, the government control the aliens, but I must maybe have another point of view. Maybe somebody else, I don't know if they are aliens, but for sure other beings control the governments. I start to believe that, like in the movie that we were talking before they leave. Maybe these beings been controlling governments for generations, and that's how they can control us. What do you think?
Oh, I completely believe that. I mean, when you think about it, we're the little fish in the big pond. So if naturally we would be the ones under control. But my whole belief system on that goes way back to the origins of mankind itself. You know, I mean, you read the Bible and you read Genesis, and everyone's always asking, when the Genesis says, let us make man in our image. Well, who's us and who's our? And then they say, well, it's God talking to himself. And, you know, but then that raises the question, well, is he schizophrenic? You know, that's what most people say. That's what I've heard most people say. Well, is he schizophrenic? If he's sitting there talking around, he's got 3 personalities.
If I can interact, you know, I'm not a preacher. I'm not really expert, but just from playing the devil's advocate, okay? Even, of course, this is talking about God, playing the God's advocate. Last time I did catechism, there is the God, the Holy Spirit, and His Son. Maybe he was talking about those 3. What do you think?
Well, that's the mainstream version of it. You know, that's the mainstream version.
Give me your version. I'm curious about
my version is a couple of people that are not from this planet standing around talking about how are we going to do this. You know, my theories go pretty deep, and that could be a whole entire show.
Okay.
But I mean, basically what it boils down to is the missing link. I believe that whatever stage mankind was in at that point in time, when we were visited by extraterrestrials and they altered the DNA, and we're the final product. We're that product. And that's why you have that missing link, and you're never going to find that missing link. If you're going to make a transition, you know, like evolution, it has evolution says, you know, it slowly transitions from one thing to another, but yet we don't have any fossil records for any transitions of any species anywhere on this planet. And it's the same for man. We're not going to find that. And I really honestly believe that huge gap that we see there and that missing link is where they just said, well, look, this will work fine for our purposes. You know, this suits us just fine. Let's use this. This is our base model, and we're the final product of that. If you do research into that, you could get pretty deep into that whole part of history. I think that goes back. Some people tie that into Atlantis. I think like Michael Tessarian, he's got a nice lecture out there called Destruction of Atlantis, and he pretty much gets into the same thing that I'm talking about right now, about genetic alteration, but being made and created to be slaves for their society. And the first set rebelled, you know, and cast out. So they made the second set, which is what we are. And the dumbed down version, I guess, according to his theory, you know, the first set they gave all the intelligence that they had, and that didn't work out right because they didn't like being slaves. You know, they had that intelligence. So now they dumbed you down, which is why I believe, honestly, the humans we only use 8-10% of our brain. Every other animal and every living thing on this planet uses 100% of its brain power, basically, except a human being. So you got to think about that.
We are talking here tonight is a recorded show. It's night. I'm here in Kingman, Arizona, with Paul Flores, very interesting man, and I really I appreciate what he's doing here because, guys, just to let you know, besides what we're talking right now, the main thing that you cannot see through the radio, but you can pretty much go to the website, lovegunsfreedom.com. You can see the link to his observatory. He has here one of the most amazing observatory for privates. I'm talking, this is not NASA, okay? This is not some big corporation. This is like a regular guy that put all his money, his time into trying to share what's going on, not even just in the middle of nowhere universe. We're talking about next to us, the moon. And when you see what's going on, what more important, what he caught, because all he does is just record. He record and he put it live. There is a live stream. Let's say one more time, please, your Ustream channel and how people can see exactly the strange activities on the moon that you've been video recording.
The Ustream channel is ustream.tv/channel/Tree of Might. Use a 0 when you spell of in Tree of Might. So TREE 0 MI, or I'm sorry, 0F MIGHT. The YouTube channel again is youtube.com/DarkSkyWatcher74. And you find me live all the time on Ustream. You never know what I'm going to be doing. We did the moon this morning, and that caught a lot of people off guard when we did a daytime moon, or instead of sunrise, we normally do sunrise cam. We did moon this morning. So,
and speaking about sun, I saw the other videos of especially on YouTube. This was on Yahoo, by the way, on mainstream, Yahoo. On the sun, there were very strange activities just a few days ago, like almost looks an object that was attached to the sun. It was huge, by the way, and it seems like almost was charging, and then it was like skyrocketing, like almost it was like a starship.
They caught that again. If this was just recently, then yeah, that's been happening for a while. That thing, I don't have my own theory on it yet. I mean, I'm still trying to work it out, because when I look at the satellite imagery, you can't really tell that it's a metallic object or a solid object. And when you look at the size of it in comparison to the sun, this thing is huge. But the fact remains that whatever it is and whatever's happening, this disc-shaped object is sucking energy out of the sun. I mean, you can plainly see it on the satellite imagery. There is a force, and there is stuff and matter being pulled away from the sun. And a lot of the YouTubers out there that like to go really extreme, they say it's a UFO recharging off the sun, which I can fully agree on things like that. I believe that if you were an advanced civilization, how would you can't just pull over for gas. How would you do it? One of the ways is you would recharge off of stars and other things like that, and you would juice up your batteries.
Now, speaking about the sun, the hour is almost over, but something important, even the government somehow, once in a while, the NASA has been saying it. It's not a question of if, it's only a question of when we're going to have another very much of a solar storm, like happened anyway almost 100 years ago or so, even in the Southwest, when we had just telegraphs. But this is not a conspiracy. I mean, look, we had pretty much already been, when we did not have technology, or at least our technology was so little, we didn't have computers, and it burns all the telegraph, all the different little things we had. Something's going to happen, and if it happens this time, we're going to pretty much go back to technology of before the early century. I mean, we're going to go in a... Right. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I believe what you're talking about I think that's called a Carrington event. And that would definitely wipe out our power grids. It would wipe us out. We would be back in the dark ages. And I just don't know what people would even do if they couldn't get on their cell phones and access Twitter one day. Half the world would have an instant heart attack, And
on top, water and everything, electricity, you can't even go to the bathroom and flush the toilet anymore. You're not going to have water in your home. I mean, it's going to be, and unfortunately, this is something, it seems like it's only a question of time. Government, they don't tell us, but we know that they are building, and this is a fact, guys. This is not a conspiracy. They are building underground bases, like never before. There is one huge that was also featured by a big TV show, Conspiracy Theory by Jesse Ventura, is exactly in this middle of nowhere, Ozark in Arkansas. It's amazing. It's like underground city. So it's happening. Something we don't know, but we smell like human beings. We have the instinct. We are on the verge of something. Listen, Paul, I want to thank you again. And before I leave you, I want to say one thing, guys. Let's get the example from Paul. If Paul can do this sort of journey here, trying to reach out the sky and the stars, and trying to share this information on YouTube, reach millions of people, you can do the same, even in just your neighborhood. Start to talk about things normally we wouldn't like to talk because people think, they're laughing at you. There is nothing to laugh. We need to have an open mind. We need to learn from each other, because I tell you, the moment that you think you know everything, you don't know anything. Now, just before I let you go, I want to be sure you are in perfect mental health. You don't have any type of depression, and you don't want to commit any suicide, anything, right? I am back into the studio. My name is Luca Zanna, and this is a very important message. For the first time, I on this digital recorder. It just froze. Yes, I could not continue the interview. I had to come back into the studio. I was pretty much asking to Paul Flores, my guest, if he ever wanted to commit suicide or if he feels mentally stable. He said, of course not. He's feeling great, and he never wants to commit suicide. Guess what? I don't know, call it coincidence, but in the middle of his answering, my digital machine froze. That's all I want to say, and probably just a coincidence, but all I want to let you know, it never happened before. I'm here in the studio anyway. I'm back, kind of shocked a little bit. But that was incredible information. Please go to lovegunsfreedom.com. Today's show, there is the page, and you will see the videos of at least one YouTube video with a link of Paul Flores. Interesting YouTube and also Ustream channel. Now, what can I say? Today we touch different topics, because at the end of the day, no matter what, my goal is to bring you the truth. At least to bring you things that there are no any type of agenda. I have no agenda. I have no agenda but to bring facts and truth. And then, of course, I can put up my opinion. I can tell you my opinions. But most of the times, almost always, I always bring you first facts. And then according to these facts and evidence, we can pretty much formulate our opinions. Now, another opinion that is not an opinion, but it's a fact. If you believe that what I'm trying to do here is important, you can support this show. This is a different type of show. You know, I don't really rely on corporate sponsors. Of course, sponsors are always welcome, but my sponsor is pretty much always come after the truth. The truth comes first, and then the sponsor. If you want to support what I'm trying to do, it's very simple. Go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. First of all, you can see there is a music section. Or go to my other website, www.zanna.us. You can download any of my songs for just 99 cents. The price less than a coffee. You can offer me a coffee, and doing that with 99 cents, you get the song, one of my songs, and in this way, you can support the show, and you can support it and keep it free. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. So today, different information, but it is part always of the big picture. I mean, we can focus sometimes, try to bring you different aspects. We talk about the economy, we talk about Obama, we can talk about Bush, we can talk about the parties that they created, political parties to divide us, the Federal Reserve and it's private, and what they're doing with the economy, martial laws, all these things, all important. By the end of the day, we also must look at the big picture, like a big puzzle. Who is behind all this agenda? What is their final goal? And I tell you something, guys. Maybe the aliens, maybe not. The result is the same. I do not care at the end of the day if a Rockefeller or for the people on top of the New World Order, they're humans or devils. The result is the same. We're all in danger. We are under bondage, and we will be more in bondage, and if we don't stop him. So let's unite, let's get together. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Don't go away, be ready for hour number 2. We're going to have a lot of great information about guns and training, and special guest from one of the best schools in the industry from Arizona. Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on Guerrilla Media Network. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on Guerrilla Media Network. Here we go, hour number 2. This is Luca Zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. As you very well know, my dear friends, listeners, my purpose, my only goal to be here on Sunday, it is to share information, and pretty much information that could be very valuable, not only to take our rights back and to defend this republic, but also how to really exercise our rights, especially when it comes down to the Second Amendment. I always say, with freedom comes responsibility. And to be a gun owner probably is one of the biggest responsibility we can ever have. Think about it. We have that power to defend life, but also to take a life. So we are accountable for every round getting out of our barrel of our gun. So I really believe, even if, of course, we live in Arizona and we are blessed, that we have this right that is not a privilege. We don't need to beg for a permit to carry, even concealed. But at the same time, I think we have the moral and also, in my opinion, even ethical obligation to pretty much do the best that we can, to do our best that we can to become better gun owners. And I'm not just talking, of course, about safety, that first of all is the number one thing, but also I'm talking about being trained, to be proficient, to be able, in case we have to do what we have to do to defend life, to save life. So today, I brought in the past several schools, and I have no any type of affiliation. I'm just a student. I like to learn from everybody I can, and I'm not endorsing anybody. I just want to bring opportunities, choices for you as a free market listeners. You can evaluate. All I care that you find a way to get some training. Now, today, talking about schools and gun training schools, we have one of the historical schools of America, and I really believe this is probably one of the foundation of this country. It's called Gunsight Academy from Arizona. And I have with me an incredible guy that, by the way, is not just a guy, he's the manager, and he will tell us more of what he exactly does. His name is Mr. Ken Campbell. Ken, are you there?
I'm here.
Nice to meet you, Ken. And I would like to just, first of all, introduce you correctly. What is exactly your role at Gunsight Academy?
My official title is the Chief Operating Officer.
Okay. Pretty much this, what do you do exactly? Take care of everything?
Well, I'm blessed to sit in what I call the big chair and kind of oversee the day-to-day operations of the facility and the great staff that we're blessed here to have, and our instructors, and then all these students that we get from all over the country to come here to learn how to protect themselves and their families.
Very good. By the way, I was going through the list of instructors, and I find very top-notch, at least in their background. I mean, we're talking about all people that they've been seeing really not just at theoretical level, the art and the science of gunfighting, but also I really see many of them, they are really been through real life situations. I think probably most of them, between police and sheriff deputies, and of course also former military people in different branches. Can you give us a little bit about your background, and then we will talk about the school and the history and the heritage of Gunsight Academy?
Certainly. I'm from central Indiana, is where I grew up and I worked, and I spent 35 years working for a sheriff's office there, starting out as a 19-year-old jail deputy and worked my way up through the ranks on into patrol, and I was a canine handler and worked crash reconstruction and hazardous materials, and became a firearms instructor, and I also helped stand up our special response team, or our SWAT team, and over the course of the years, I was promoted up through the ranks, lieutenant and captain, and I was very fortunate that the voters put their confidence in me, and I spent my last 8 years as the sheriff there. During that interim period, one of the schools that I went to was Gunsight.
Wow.
It was about 1990, the fall of 1990. And came out here, and I came with some experience in my background as a firearms instructor, and I'd been to other good schools around the country, but coming to Gunsight was significant, and as the term we use, it was an epiphany.
Wow.
And I was very fortunate to come back a time or two again, and after about my third trip, Colonel Cooper invited me to what was called the Provost School then, which was our instructor school. Mm-hmm. And I came back and went to the instructor school, and if you did well in that, you were asked to come back and apprentice a couple of times, and if you did well in your apprenticeships, then you were asked to come on staff.
Wow.
So I came on staff in about 92 or so, and I came out and taught a few weeks a year up until December of 2014 when I came on staff as the Chief Operating Officer. The owner of Gunsight, Buzz Mills, approached me about November of 13, knowing I was going to retire. My career in law enforcement was coming to an end, and approached me on wanting to know if I really wanted to retire or whether I was ready to take on another challenge. And I've been blessed in my life. I've had great jobs. I never woke up one morning and thought, I've got to go to work today, and I hate it. I loved being a deputy sheriff. I loved being the sheriff, but I also love gun sight and teaching people how to stay alive. So this was just a blessing for my wife and I to be able to come out here to beautiful Arizona, the high desert, the high country, and to be able to spend some time here at Gunsight and work with these great folks.
On top, I've never been in Indiana, but I think weather is pretty nice compared to the cold that you got up there, right?
Yeah, I've had some fun with my former staff here these last few months when it's been 24 below and 6 and 8 inches of snow back in Indiana, and I've been enjoying 50 and 60 degrees here in northern Arizona.
Perfect. So now this is very good because I've never been to your academy, and I really would like one day. The purpose of the show, as I said, is to share first of all what's going on in our country, in our republic, what's left of it. And then, of course, at the same time, the show is called Love, Guns, and Freedom. The part about guns, I really believe it's a fundamental part that really belongs mostly, I think, mainly only to this country, the right to keep and bear arms. It is a vital concept to defend our freedom. And that's why I really believe that when we have law-abiding citizens, that they are educated about our rights and our republic, and also they have the right to keep and bear arms, we can defend this republic without violence. That's the purpose. That's why not just for the regular, dirtbags out there, the violent people, the criminals. I'm talking about the right of an unarmed population that understands that we have this right and we will defend it and must start somewhere. And that's why I really believe your school, it's vital in this process, because this is not just the school for the professionals, for the military people, of the law enforcement. This is for the regular mom and pop. They can come there, bring their rifles, and become proficient in that. So let's talk a little bit, first of all, about the history of Gunsight. I know they went through different ownership, but was founded by a very important person that, in my opinion, I was born here. I came to America in 1998, and since I was at 2000, I started to learn about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. And when it comes down to the Second Amendment, in my research, Colonel Cooper was one of the people that I wanted to learn immediately. And I started to read his books, and I wanted to immediately to start to exercise my Second Amendment. And of course, as I became a citizen and I got my green card, I bought my guns and I started to study. Now, tell me a little bit about, first of all, how this Gunsight school started and when.
Well, let me back up just a little bit, if I may, and take a liberty here.
Yes, of course.
The guest, go back where you were talking about the inalienable rights that we have here in our country and so on. And you were talking about the great citizens. Let me stress something to our great citizens that are out there listening and how important their sheriffs are. A sheriff is a constitutional office holder, and that's why your sheriffs almost across the board, across our great republic, step up and step forward about our Second Amendment rights. They are empowered by you. They are empowered by the voters. So it's very important that when that election comes up for your sheriff, you study who the best person is, because every 4 years that person comes up and says, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, and this is how I hope to do it. And you either empower him or you don't. The town marshals, the chiefs of police, and so on, they are not an office. The sheriff's office is a constitutional office. A chief of police is a department, and that chief serves at the will of the mayor or the town board, and so on. So again, to the good people out here listening that understand their rights, they need to understand how important a good sheriff is in their community. So I appreciate you letting me take a little sideline there. But it does segue into what you're speaking of here.
And before you go ahead, 1 second only, I really would like to say I'm glad you did that, because this is exactly what is about this show. It is not just about learning how to put some lead down to target. It is to understand exactly the foundation of this republic. And you said exactly the most important thing. That's why we got to really work and look into the sheriff figure. And we had in the past Sheriff Mack as our guest. They pretty much did the incredible Supreme Court case, exactly reminding us the power of the sheriff. Thank you very much. Please go ahead now. You got my vote, by the way. Whenever you're going to run for office, if you run around, I'll vote for you.
Well, that part of my life is in the past. But Gunsight was founded by a retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel by the name of Jeff Cooper. And Colonel Cooper, it will live in infamy in the shooting world. He took he was a very learned man, And he was able to take his knowledge of hunting and shooting, his experience in the Marine Corps, and the variety of areas he worked there, and then his education, because he was a professor there in California. And I'm sorry that college escapes me right now. I want to say USC, but don't hold me to that. So he took his knowledge of shooting and his knowledge of education and was able to combine those two things together and really turn it into lesson plans. He found out what worked. He observed what worked in the Big Bear Lake area. They had the precursors of IPSC and IDPA, and he was watching these shooters who were winning. And these people were big names in the shooting world in our history, the Jack Weavers, the Thel Reeds, the Ray Chapmans, and so on. He looked to those people they were winning and studied what they did, and then codified that, if you will, into lesson plans that he coined the modern technique. In about 1976, he and Mrs. Cooper came out here to Arizona. They liked the climate, the political climate, the area, and so on, and they were able to purchase Gunsight, the American Pistol Institute, as it was known then. Mm-hmm. And now we're over 2,000 acres, wow. 26 different ranges here. We teach pistol, carbine, shotgun, rifle, hunting rifle, long-range rifle. We can shoot from contact distance out to 2,000 meters with our extreme long-range classes. We do edge weapons classes. We do tactical med classes. And we teach everyone from our nation's great warriors, our Special Operation Commands folks, Delta, Force Recon, Special Boat, SEALs, to our various federal agencies, to local law enforcement, to the little old lady who's a door greeter at Walmart.
Wow.
And whether we're teaching that little old lady who's a door greeter at Walmart, or whether we're teaching that warrior that's headed to Afghanistan, we all start with that same foundation of the modern technique. So they all start with that, and then it grows from there into what their specific specialty or area needs to be dependent on their life. So Gunsight's been here. It'll be our 40th year in next year, 2016. That'll be a great celebration for us, and we continue to train good people and help keep them alive.
Perfect. This is very exciting. You know, as I said, it's good to have. First of all, I'm from Arizona. I chose this state by design. I wasn't here by accident. Didn't come here by accident. And I like to know that in Arizona we have training facility like Gunsight. This is it's very important, you know, and my goal, you know, I want to support everybody that is doing their part for the battle to retake our rights and to also share this knowledge. But at the same time, you know, I don't want to sound a little partisan, but if you're from Arizona, I like also the fact that we are here. We need to try to improve the economy, try to improve our state. Now, a little bit about, first of all, your curriculum. I know that you have so many different classes from basic start down level to all the way to the advanced. Let's start with something that I would consider probably the staple, at least the beginning for every law-abiding citizen that wants to be ready to defend himself and his family or herself and her family from criminals and from bad people out there. It's the pistol class, okay? Tell me a little bit. I know that you have different names of different type of classes. What is the number one basic defensive handgun class that you have to go through? And then from then, if you qualify, you can go ahead.
Well, let's just focus on the training part of it for just a minute, if we may.
Yes.
And Colonel Cooper said it best many years ago in one of his books. Just because you own a piano does not make you a musician. Mm-hmm. And while it is wonderful that we can go out in free America and purchase a rifle or a handgun or a shotgun, if we're a proper person, we can purchase that. Unfortunately, many people think that they could survive a fight by simply buying that gun, shooting it a half a dozen or a dozen times, and then hiding it away in their underwear drawer in their bedroom. And when something goes bad in their lives, that they would rise to the occasion. Well, there's a noted author, a fellow by the name of Barrett Tillman, who's also a multiple Gunsight grad, who's saying we use quite a little bit, is you won't rise to the occasion. You will default to your level of training. Mm-hmm. And it is incumbent upon you that if you accept the responsibility of being a gun owner, you really need to get some training. so that if something bad does happen, you don't compound that by responding inappropriately. The bad guy's name may be on the front of that bullet, but on the back of that bullet is your name. And trailing along in the vapor trail behind it is a whole list of attorneys' names. Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure that you are absolutely responsible with every round that comes out of that gun, because it's going somewhere.
Yes.
So now that I've thrown that caveat in there, our bread and butter class, if you will, is called the 250 class. It's our general pistol class. Mm-hmm. I've got one going on just this week. We're in day 4 of a 250 pistol class. And it's about 50 hours. Don't think it's an easy week. I mean, it's not like it's buds training or basic training where we're yelling and cursing and screaming and having you doing push-ups and so on. If you'd like that, we could do that to you, but that's not what we do. We're adult education. If you're having fun, your learning curve accelerates. So our 250 pistol class is 5 days. We spend the first 3 days basically on the square range, getting you all set up so that you know how, so that you are good at your gun handling and your marksmanship. Then on day 4 and day 5, we test what you've learned on the square range with your gun handling and marksmanship. We test that in indoor and outdoor simulators, where we take you through live fire shoot houses and outdoor simulators where you have to negotiate those corners and those washes and so on, and perceive a target, identify it if it's a good guy or a bad guy, and then shoot it if need be and get good hits on it. So that's where, if you will, the rubber meets the road. Now, the third thing that's important to us, we've spoken of mindset, we've spoken of gun handling and marksmanship, but the important part of that, and I think something that sets our training different than many others, is the mindset. Mm-hmm. And on Wednesday of our 5-day class, you get your mindset lecture. And that is one of Colonel Cooper's the best things that have come out of the modern technique, in my humble opinion. It's where we teach you how to be alert, decisive, being able to avoid a situation if you can, as opposed to how many people do you know that you come up upon as they're shopping in the market, and you come up almost to their face and you speak to them and you startle them. That shouldn't be. With the proper mindset, they should be alert and aware. Not that they are paranoid, they are not, but rather they're just simply aware that the world can be a dangerous place and they need to be knowing what's going on around them. And we spend a good part of our Wednesday morning speaking of that mindset, and that teaches people avoidance. We don't want to just teach you how to fight with a gun. We do. We teach you how to fight with that firearm. But we also teach you how to be alert and avoid it if you can, because that's a big win if you can simply see it and step away from it.
Yes, exactly. You know, the best fight is the one that you can avoid. And especially when you're a law-abiding citizen, you know, there is no winning. You know, you just try to get even at the end, because all you want to do is defend your family or the innocence or your life. By the end, you know, you're always going to face consequences, even when you're in the right, to explain, to also have that moral condition that, of course, if somebody is a scumbag at that point, you know, you need to already have your mind made up. But regardless, you always are going to have consequences, you know, and the media and the lawyers, as you say, and the police, they got to do their job to try to understand what's going on. So let's try to understand. We talked in the past, by the way, during the second hour, we tried to go, you know, I'm just a learner, I'm just a student, but whatever I learn, I'm trying to share. And we talk about, of course, the different conditions, you know, the color of awareness. And I got this YouTube that I would like also one day to play probably on the air from Colonel Cooper, that he does incredible class, probably was from the early 80s, I don't know, regarding these conditions of color of awareness, you know, and
that's correct. That's his mindset lecture. And
yes.
And it's like, and I've heard him give it many times, and it's like sitting and listening to your favorite grandfather tell a story. Mm-hmm. And it has such a positive impact on you, and literally and truly can change your life.
Yes, yes. And by the way, I would like to remind that we have many other schools in the country, and that's great. You know, I like, as a consumer, as a customer, I like to have, you know, free market. We would like to have that, you know. But I tell you something, what I think really is important, Colonel Cooper was, in my opinion, also to fax. he's been probably one of the first one to really codify, as you say, these techniques and to create a system for the modern gunfighter, for the law-abiding citizen, is able to have all this information codified in some sort of educational package. So from there, many other schools, in the years came out, but he was the guy that pretty much taught to the other teachers, or he taught to the teacher and shared these values and this a system to the rest of now what we have, the new leadership of the other new schools. Is it true? I mean, do you confirm that, what I just said?
Right. Many of the reputable modern-day schools, there are many good reputable modern-day schools, and we encourage people to go out and seek a variety of training. So they've got a lot of tools in their toolbox. But I think you will find that many of them, of these reputable schools, base some of their training upon the modern technique and how Colonel Cooper has impacted the shooting world far more than my generation, the next generation, and probably the next will ever recognize, because of the changes he made and how different people will take his system, and they may modify it a bit to suit their purposes, their school, and so on, but the essence comes from the modern technique and what he taught.
Now, the class we're talking about is called the 250 pistol class at Gunsight Academy, and I was able to download somewhere some sort of, I think it's the final test. Let's see, the drill Gunsight, the final drill and you know what? I need to really try it out this weekend because I'm really excited now. But before I go, I would like, since you're the expert there, I want to be sure I downloaded the official version. I don't want to have downloaded some knockoff from somebody else. Can you please tell me exactly how it is, this final test, this drill gun sight for the 250 pistol class? So I double check.
It's not a I don't want to say it's not a hard test. It is. It's very challenging. Mm-hmm. Where it becomes challenging is the trying to do it within the time limits.
Yes.
And for our basic qualification course in our 250 class, you'll start at the 3-yard line with your pistol holstered. Mm-hmm. And on command, you will draw and fire a single round to the head in 1.5 seconds.
From concealed?
You'll look and assess, and you will recover into the holster, mm-hmm. and you will do that same drill again. Okay. So you will fire on the command to fire. From the holster, you'll fire a second single round to the head in 1.5 seconds.
Perfect. This is from concealed or from open carry?
Yes, either one, whichever you choose.
Okay, let's do concealed, more difficult. Okay, go ahead.
Then we step back to the 10-yard line, and from the 10-yard line, there'll be a pair from everything is done from the holster. You'll fire a pair to the body in a second and a half. Now, it's basically to the body. It's not like a law enforcement B-27 target. This is a reduced gun sight option target. Mm-hmm. The head box is about the size of an index card, and the chest plate is about an 8-inch paper plate. So again, it's not like we allow. We really want to count shots to the arm or into the pelvis or so on. We want the high chest or up into the soft tissue area into the head. So from our first is a single shot to the brain from the 3-yard line, second and a half from the holster. We do 2 iterations of that. Mm-hmm. Then we step back to the 7-yard line. We do a pair to the body from the holster in a second and a half.
Yes.
Then we step back to the 10-yard line, and again we shoot from the holster a pair to the body in 2 seconds. Then we step back to the 15-yard line, and from the holster you will shoot a pair to the body from kneeling in 3.5 seconds. We teach you a variety of different kneeling positions depending on what works best for you, depending on how you've been bent and broken over the years, what type of load equipment you're carrying, if you're wearing body armor and so on. So there's at the 15-yard line, and then back at the 25-yard line, from the holster, you have 7 seconds to get into a rollover prone position and fire 2 rounds into the chest. So it's a 10-round course of fire.
Wow, beautiful.
It's either 5 points in the chest or in the head, and 2 points for the peripheral hits, or 0 if they're not on the body whatsoever. So it's not a high round count, but it's very challenging.
I love it.
And shooting a clean paper, a perfect score, is not common.
Yes, I really like it
But
because
what's important in our
Yes.
test is not just that. It's all good and well. You can stand on that square range and punch holes in a piece of paper. We also grade you for your graded certificate when you graduate from us is how you do in these simulators. Did you really use concealment and cover? Did you manage your ammunition so you didn't shoot empty? Did you really make sure it was a bad guy you were shooting and not a good guy on these photo targets and such that we use in our simulators? So it's more than just punching holes in papers against a stopwatch. It's seeing how you react in that simulator when your adrenaline really starts flowing, your pulse rate comes up, and so on as we go through there. That's the difference. It's how you'll do in the fight.
Perfect. By the way, for the listeners, if you're just tuning in, we are talking to Mr. Ken Campbell, that is the Chief Operating Officer at Gunsight Academy in Paulden, Arizona. Okay, it's an incredible school. And, I would like to challenge any one of us, and I'm not just talking you, I'm talking myself, we have guns, of course, but it's a good way to test our ability because I always like to challenge myself. And that's the best way we can understand that the learning process is never over. And if you don't keep practicing, this is not going to be like a skill going to be there forever. It's perishable skill. So let's do this. If everybody think at home that they are great shots with a handgun, they are ready to defend the families and everything, let's try this weekend this 250 drill at Gunsight. And what I'll do, if you go to the website, lovegunsfreedom.com, on today's show, I will post exactly this short summary of this drill test, so you can copy and paste it, and you can try it out maybe this Sunday at the range. And if something happens, say, oh my gosh, I'm doing terrible. That's great, because at least you understand that you are not as great as you thought you are, and it's time to put some training. Because this is not about showing off. This is about a big responsibility. It's like tomorrow you have a car, and you're not sure about this car, how powerful it is, and you want to engage. Maybe, you need to pass another car or a truck on the highway. If you don't know how fast you can go, how much power you have, it is dangerous. So you must know our limits. And that's why the way we can improve. So very nice. And I like the fact now, by the way, Mr. Campbell, that these 10 rounds, they make you work so much because the ammo, is very expensive, even, of course, back and forth. But there is no better way to train but just to make every round count. And I think it's a great way.
That's correct. It's not the, there's some schools where they have high round counts. Mm-hmm. I'm not necessarily a big believer in that. It's not the quantity of rounds we shoot. It's the quality of what we do with them. Mm-hmm. And here at Gunsight, if there is not a learning objective or learning principle behind it, we aren't going to put that round into the backstop. Mm-hmm. Our time, our training dollars, our ammunition dollars are far too precious. So we've got to make sure that if we're training, we need to make sure that we get full benefit of every trigger press that we get. It's practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. And if you practice imperfectly, you will make that bad habit permanent. Perfect practice makes perfect. So we've got to make sure what we're doing has the proper learning objective behind it. So there's good learning behind it, so that when something bad does happen, we can respond to it. Or let's take it out of the self-defense realm. Mm-hmm. You're a hunter, and you've got this lifetime dream of going elk hunting, or you pick the animal that you're going to go hunt for. I would hope you would go out more than just sight your rifle in or your shotgun in before you go on that once a chance in a lifetime hunt, so you are less apt to screw that shot up and miss that trophy animal that you're looking for. You want to make sure that you study up, that you prepare so that you can stand tall when things happen.
Perfect. So this is the 250 pistol class. It's 5 days. There is no any type of prerequisite. It's pretty much, you might just be able to standing up for 5 days. It's kind of, physically demanding, but you don't need any type of special skill. And
now, having said that, though,
yes.
We've got folks that have handicaps. We've got folks that I had a gentleman in class who was 80 years old 3 weeks ago. So we will work with what God gave you. when you show up here. If you need to sit for a bit, we can work with you with that. So it's not just made for that Army Ranger. The class isn't. We work with the group of folks that we get in class, and that's one of the great things about the great real world range masters and coaches we've got here. The guys and gals that are either current active duty military or retired military or current or retired law enforcement. We've got folks that have got real world experience, and we're using techniques that we know works today, whether it's on the streets of our communities or in the terrible world of the Middle East, Iraq, Afghanistan, and so on, where our warriors are over there fighting. Okay. We use and teach the techniques that work there based upon what our great guys and gals here have gleaned from that. Okay, interesting. And this basic class, that is not really basic, but it's the foundation class, they call it, the 250. How many ammunition do you need to complete the class, an average? It's either 1,000 or 1,200 rounds. I forget which it is. Okay. It's either 1,000 or 1,200 rounds, and then you need to have at least 50 rounds of the frangible ammo, because in our indoor simulators, we require the frangible ammo to, it makes it safer. Yeah, so, you see, 5 days, you have to go through some rounds. That's great, because you're going to really use these 50 hours in a very intense way. We're talking about 1,000 rounds plus 50 rounds of frangible for the simulator. And, of course, you have 5 days. Now, the cost, so people can have an idea, how much money they need to save and how many Starbucks coffee they can spare and save, and they can, trust me, it doesn't take much but go ahead, please. How much would it cost? Well, let me just say here, you get what you pay for. Mm-hmm. As an old friend of mine says, if you buy cheap, you buy 3 times also. And I also throw, because we are not inexpensive. A class, depending on what the class is, tuition ranges between $1,200 and $1,500. Mm-hmm. Now, having said that, let's sit back and think, what did you spend at Starbucks in the last month? What did you spend at Netflix? How much did you spend on that surround sound system for that high-definition TV in your living room? Mm-hmm. What did you spend on the wheels, the fancy wheels for your car? Will any of those things save the most precious person in your life's life? That's what you have to compare it to. Yes. Will that $1,000 sound system I bought for my car or my home TV, will that save my daughter's life if I need it to? No, it's gonna be an extra bonus for the bad guy breaking into your home after rapes your daughter and probably kill you. It's gonna also get that sound system for free as a Christmas gift. No, this is it's true. What folks need to realize, yes, it's not inexpensive, but you're going to get what you pay for. Mm-hmm. You need to do your due diligence and vet these different reputable schools out. Make sure it's what you want, and make sure it's not coming from just sources that you can't trust. So that the money you're spending, you will get a very positive return on the different good schools that are out here. Certainly, we want you to come to Gunsight, but we also know there's some other very good schools out there also. Perfect. And by the way, I would like if you can give the website so people can go on your website and check it out and take a look at the different classes. Please go ahead. Sure, it's www.gunsight.com. Again, gunsight.com, or you can visit us on Facebook as well. Very good. And this is Luca Zanna, and you're listening to the second hour of Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM. And I've been very honored to have with me as a guest Mr. Campbell, that is the Chief Operating Officer at Gunsight Academy in Paulden, Arizona. Now, all I can say, thank you very much, Mr. Campbell. It's been a pleasure. And more important, thank you for what you're doing, because I really believe that more law-abiding citizens understand and learn the skills how to defend ourselves and our freedom, we always will remain at least America that we're supposed to be. And we are the last line of defense. We're very fortunate to live in the great republic that we do, and the great people that work here at Gunsight. The mission we do in keeping good people alive makes it all worthwhile. Normally I would say, because this hour is about techniques and tactics, and this is coming, of course, from somebody that came here late. On the side, we are losing this republic, and it's our duty to bring it back.
because I tell you, just the last 10 years, we are another America, and you don't need to agree with me or not, but this is something that it's happening in front of our eyes. And from Republic, unfortunately, we became a democracy. That is the most dangerous things to our freedom, because now we are pretty much almost a tyranny. I don't know if you're familiar with the National Defense Authorization Act that Mr. Obama and the rest, but that's another story. Normally I talk about this during the first hour. I want to just focus with you about gun sight and all the great job you're doing. So thank you very much, and maybe one day I would like to come and visit you. That would be great. I would like to apply for a class myself.
You're welcome here. We look forward to seeing you.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Good to visit with you.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman,
I'm not afraid.
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna
I'm not afraid.
and his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go. This is Luca Zanna back into the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. Great interview. I really enjoy, first of all, learning everything I can when it comes down to Second Amendment and the handgun and self-defense. So, I don't have problems to say that, my main school where normally I train, it is front sight, and I'm a life member. But that's why, to show you that I have no any agenda. It's not like I am a spokesperson for front sight. No, I'm just a regular guy, and I was able to afford front sight. But my point for me, I just want to share with you everything could help you out to become a better, more proficient, and more important, more responsible gun owner. So, you see, today I brought you gun sight, and I'm happy. I really am happy, and I hope you can visit them. And I would like to visit them too, especially now with this economy. It's kind of rough, but I would love that. Now, second part of the second hour, it's about guns. We're talking a little bit about training. We talk about gun rights. Something I would like to talk, and I know that probably you heard this so many times. You may say, oh my God, no, I can't. It's about different calibers. What is your caliber for the handgun, for self-defense? And the point is, sometimes we all get stuck with our own, ideas, and that's fine. And I'm writing this sort of a manual. It's called, Handgun, Defensive Handgun by Gianluca Zanna, an humble professional student that I am, and that's why. And I'll give you my opinion. But before we go there, and I give you my opinion, I would like to get a call. I never get so many calls. So I have a listener, and I have somebody that I also repute at least a friend in freedom, and we don't spend time together, but I know his spouse. He's a Facebook friend, and I know that we share the same values when it comes down to freedom. And his name is Joshua. Joshua, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Luca. How you doing?
How are you, my friend?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Very good. So by the way, you're a neighbor too. You live in the same rural area of Mother County called Golden Valley, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I'm just here a little southwest of you.
Perfect. So I like that. We live in the boonies, like we say, and normally we like it. I like it out there. So listen, talking about the question, what is, I post that also on Facebook, what is the caliber that you would choose for your family or for yourself? First of all, this is a personal small weapon for self-defense. What is the caliber for your handgun that of your choice? And then you can give me your reason why. Right
now, I would probably for the last quite a few years now, it's been a 9mm, and it's been my Glock 17 has been my go-to gun since 1992. It was the first Glock I purchased.
Wow.
And it I own plenty of others and in different calibers, and then a few other Glocks in different calibers, but I always seem to go back to the 17. And I think for me, it's just I'm the most proficient with it. I'm the most comfortable with it. I'm comfortable carrying it concealed, comfortable carrying it open. And, I would say one of the reasons is I would have to say probably the price of the 9mm ammo, is always been affordable. Even during this little scare and crisis we went through trying to get ammunition, it still, still didn't kill you to purchase it if you didn't have enough saved up,
Where do you get your ammo? Because I give you my sources, and the reason why I'm doing this because I want to help other listeners. Sometimes, they're just a little bit more, don't have enough time to do their researches, and I want to make them save money. Okay, I'm not trying to pitch anybody.
Right.
Where do you buy your ammo? Lately,
I try to always keep the local guy in business, but I do purchase most of it online lately. AIM is one of them. Lucky Gunner. LuckyGunner.com. There's AIM Surplus. There's whoever gives me what it is I'm looking for at the best price. But mostly online lately. I'd have to say.
Yeah, me too. And normally, I shop around, but I have a couple of places that I would like to advise to my listeners. And let me tell you, I'm not getting paid by them. Okay, I just do this because I really want you prepared as a community. I really believe if a community is prepared with ammunition and training and knowledge, it's a safer community. So that's why I'm trying to do that. First place I really enjoy very much is called sgammo.com. It's great prices on normally every caliber and very reasonable shipping. 9mm for training, you can get, typical DeWolf or even, I like the Brown Bear very much.
Yeah, I purchase it a lot too. I use a lot of Brown Bear myself.
Yeah, $10. You can, box of 50 for $10 is not bad. Of course, nothing like when you used to buy the Blazer at Walmart a few years ago before this tyrant from Kenya used to be like $5. I used to pay $5 before this bastard came to office for my Blazer at Walmart, 9mm. My God, that was still America before this happened.
Right, yeah. I remember if, anything over $12 a box, it was ridiculous, and then, for years, what was, 9mm at $9 a box average for your ball ammo was, that was paying top price. Yeah,
but now it's still good. Anyways, SGM is a good place. Cheaper than dirt, very good place too. There is another place that is Freedom Munitions. I don't know.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Yeah, they have remanufactured ammunition. They got great price on this remanufacture, but they got used top components. I wish they could become my sponsor because I really like their stuff. I shot some 40 out of my Glock. I got like 500 rounds for like $100. I mean, they were talking about like $11 or less for a box of 50 rounds of 40. Amazing. Yeah. I mean, that's good stuff. So there is still good stuff out there, guys, especially for training. I'm not getting now into the specialty self-defense ammunition that you need to invest some money there. For training, 9mm, it's a great choice, and also for carry, in my opinion. Then what do you think now? Everybody's saying, you need to have a bigger bullets like a 45 to incapacitate, faster. And don't get me wrong, it's true. Bigger the bullet, bigger the hole, bigger the trauma. That's a fact. Yeah. But why do you think 9mm today is different from what we used to have, full metal jacket from World War II?
Right. Yeah, I actually have a few things to say about that. I actually, when I was younger years ago, I actually believed that for a long time. And then, I went to school, got an education, and then I went to a career into the respiratory field, and I worked at the county hospital in Phoenix for just about 10 years.
Wow, interesting.
And during that 10 years, I worked the trauma room. If I didn't step foot in there, once a night, I worked it quite often, if not step foot in there at least once or twice a night. Mm-hmm. But for quite a few years, we were one of the busiest trauma rooms down there in the Phoenix area, and the majority of our patients that came in were, gunshot victims, and then also quite a few police officers, shot in duty or an accident, a bullet to the leg or, a situation like that, training. And, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what the round is. It's where it's placed and it's, where it hits. And, you probably heard the rumors go around that, the most common gunshot to come into, emergency room is a 22 caliber, and it's absolutely true.
Yes.
Yes. I've seen more people, critically injured or die from the 22 caliber than any other round there is, out there. So.
Exactly. And also another thing also, It's about several factors. First of all, the general rule, if you want to say that there is a rule, at least what is common sense out there in the different communities or schools, okay? You should choose the largest caliber you can handle, being able to deliver at least a controlled pair in the thoracic cavity area of your opponent as fast as you can. Because the idea is not trying to get any target shooting. You must be faster than your opponent, and you don't want to miss. Because the moment you miss, first of all, you're going to lose probably. And more important, also, you may be a liability to some innocent bystander. So that's very important. And then, if, let's say, for example, let's say you mentioned the 22. 22 is what you're able to function with. Guess what? It's better to hit a target with the 22 than missing it with the 44 Magnum. That's a fact. I mean, you can miss with the 40 Magnum. It's going to be big bomb, boom, but nothing really happened to the other opponent. So that's the point. Any type of special loads that you like for self-defense or 9 millimeters?
Lately it's been the Hornady, the critical defense, I think has been, my favorite round for as far as the 9 millimeter.
Yeah.
Also actually the 380. I recently, probably about 5 months ago, I was up here at a local gun shop and, they had some Liberty ammo. I was unaware, not too familiar with the Liberty ammo, and it's actually a really light round, but, with, a pretty fast, pretty hot round that's light. And so, I gave it a try and I'm actually extremely impressed with it. I watched quite a few videos on it and read, some really decent reviews on it. And as far as, protecting your home or within 20 feet of yourself, it's extremely, lethal rounds. And so I've actually been buying quite a bit of it lately. And, I've noticed, it's, pretty decent ammo. I don't know. I'm still on the fence with it if I'd carry it only, but, I definitely, to lighten my secondary mag, I have it loaded in the secondary mag, but the mag I carry, is right now is the Hornady, the critical defense.
Okay.
But, I like them all, these days, with, the rounds that are out these days with the jagged hollow points, it almost doesn't matter anymore. There's a great video on YouTube, of a gentleman that, I'm trying to think of his name. His name is Mac, and he's from Double Tap Shooting. I don't know where the school is. It's somewhere in the Midwest, I believe. But he has a great video on YouTube called Ballistics 201.
Yes.
And he goes over all those, all the different, jagged hollow points and versus ball ammo, and he covers anything from 380 up to 45. And his point of that video, and it actually, it educated me a lot. It's a like, 20, 30 minute video. It's pretty long, but it's really educational. And it shows you against the ballistic testing, it doesn't matter what the numbers are. If you look at the ballistic testing, that anywhere from the 380 to 45, the wound cavities nowadays really aren't that different. So I agree with his point of the video. It's what you can mitigate, and what you can, manage as far as recoil, as far as blast. And then, take in consideration the capacity. So, a lot of guys are stuck on the 45 and they talk about one shot, a bigger hole, but it's not true these days anymore. As far as, I can see, it just is not so. If you can carry 17 rounds versus 6, 7, 9 rounds, why not do it? Especially with the type of ammos that we have out nowadays are wonderful.
Exactly. And on top, of course, people can say I can get my Glock 21 and 13 rounds or whatever. That's fine. The point is, if that's comfortable for you and you're able to carry the gun all day long and you can even eventually conceal it, that's fine. I mean, guys, this is subjective, but the average thing what I like is true. In these days, let's say everything for me, I don't like the 380 for a reason. I mean, first of all, it's more expensive than the 9, and you have an underpowered 9. Why should I pay double for something anyway? It's less powerful. But regardless, everything from 9 all the way up. Now, technology is so advanced. At least we have such a better performance on our hollow point bullets, okay? And this is not really much different. Yeah, probably there is always something that you can say that brand is better than the other. But at the end of the day, if you hit faster, and you're a good marksman, and you have a good shot placement, that's what really is going to make the difference. You can spend all your day picking the most sophisticated round, but if you don't spend most of your day training and be able to hit the target from your conceal, or at least from a normal average emergency situation. You're not like facing at the range waiting for your target when you're there standing up. Must be training in real life scenarios, mostly from concealed or mostly from your holster. You gotta spend that time there more than spending and finding that magic bullet, because there is not a magic bullet. This is not a rifle, guys. Handgun, it's already, we know, ballistically, it's way underpowered. And the only reason we carry a handgun, because normally a rifle is too big to carry around all day long,
Well, like you've said before, plenty of other people say, and I agree with it too. I won't go into any major city unless I have a shotgun or my AR behind my seat of my truck. And, your pistol is enough to get you to protect yourself up close and for a short period of time, in hopes to get you to your truck, to your rifle, or to a safer place. And that's what it's for. It's a tool to get you there.
Exactly.
And like you said, it's not a rifle. It doesn't have the power your rifle has, and it doesn't have the distance. And but you need to
you carry it with you
yourself,
all day.
Get yourself there.
Exactly. And by the way, when you say go to town, normally we're talking about Arizona town. Okay, if you live in New York or California, think about it. Consult your legislations. I mean, you be a good slave, please. Don't make mistakes. Don't blame it on us. Okay.
Yeah. Luckily we still are in a state where we can still have some freedoms with our guns still.
Yes. So bottom line, in Arizona, I was stopped 2 months ago on the 40 interstate in the middle of nowhere, Flagstaff area, whatever, and I had my AK-47 loaded with 6 magazines on the side. And the DPS say, everything's okay here? Yes, everything's okay. Check my documents. What type of rifle is that? And okay, great. Have a wonderful night. Of course, he knew also I have a CCW, but the point is, think about the scene in the middle of any other part of the world. Probably they would have shot me before even I could talk. Anyway, one round that I really like, is affordable. It is not probably one of the most, sophisticated round out there, but it's very good for my Glock 17. It's a very great performance. It is the Federal hollow point P plus P plus. Okay, it's high pressure, 115 grain, 50 rounds. You get this one at SGM for $16.95, and if you stock up 20 boxes or more, just $15.95. Not a bad round. It's very fast. I like it. We're talking almost about speed of a 357 SIG, a 357 SIG. I mean, this is really fast round, and I like it. And you got very good penetration, and and it's affordable. And sometimes people are all stuck with the hollow point, but maybe we forget that the full metal jacket has a purpose too. Let's say we're in winter time, okay, and you have some bad people trying to get you, and they force you in self-defense, and they have all this big leather jacket or big heavy winter, outfit. You need to have also some good full metal jacket. And the same brand, the Federal, offers a great round that it is in full metal jacket. It's called exactly the Federal 50 rounds plus P plus full metal jacket NATO standard. As much as I hate NATO and the United Nations, they got a good round there. It's pretty fast, and it's loaded with the NATO specification. So it's pretty fast. And it's just, and I say just, $13.95 for 50 rounds. And this is a 124 grain, so you got even a little more, punch there. And it's beautiful. They work great. And I say consider also that, But, so that's pretty much the story. What else you want to ask me? We have a couple minutes. Normally I don't take calls. Any question you have for me or anything, would like to share with the listeners, whatever you want to say.
No, actually, I'm actually, like I said, that my favorite gun, well, it's not necessarily my favorite gun. It's the most proficient gun, the gun I'm most proficient with. And it's always been my go-to gun is the 17. I also have, enjoyed the 19, and my favorite actual round is the 357 SIG. And because of that, like I commented the other day on your Facebook, I actually went a few years ago, did a bunch of research on it because I thought I wanted a 10 millimeter. But then I thought I wanted a 40 caliber. Well, I went with the 357 SIG after doing a little bit of research, and went and bought myself a second barrel for the Glock 32, and in a 40 cal, and so with the one gun I could shoot either or, so whatever ammo's cheaper for me at the time or whatever it is, if I'm out of one and have the other, I always have that option with that gun. But I always do, like I said, go back to that 17 because it's what I know I handle it well and I carry it and I get plenty of rounds out of it, and and I don't need to carry a bunch of mags, just what I can. And
okay,
Joshua. So actually, I was going to ask you, what is it that you feel you're most proficient with,
I like the Glock family. I intentionally stuck with them. I mean, I stay with them because I wanted to keep my training simple and efficient. I didn't want to change a gun every week and then you get confused. Okay, so
right.
I stick with the Glock. I train with the Glock. So you carry the Glock, and normally I switch between Glock 17 or Glock 40. I say mostly for urban environments, I like the 17. If I had to go a little bit out there in the wilderness where maybe there are some, predators on four legs, I like to switch to the 40 a little bit for extra punch. But I keep it simple. Same holster for my gun and same magazine pouches for my things. So just be careful, don't switch the ammo, and everything's safe. By the way, we gotta go shoot together pretty soon. I would love that. I have a little private range in Golden Valley. Sunday, normally they're a good day for me. It's a good day for me. And let's do that, okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Listen, meanwhile, I want to say something to everybody. Please, guys, regardless which caliber you carry, remember, you are the weapon. Because at the end of the day, the gun is just an extension of your will and soul to defend your life and liberty. So, train, buy ammo, and put priority before, okay? Save some money from Starbucks or whatever you waste your money and buy more ammunition. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca, Zanna. Don't go away. Now we're going to go for the final hour of today's show. Ciao. Stay tuned. Okay, before I let you go, I forgot to tell you something. This show is an act of love, and as you can hear it, I don't really care, when I have to say something about information, which brand to buy, where to buy it. All I care is the fact, the truth, or at least what I think is the best for you guys or for us, okay? So my first commitment is to the truth and to my listeners. But to support the show, I need your help. It's very simple. I don't even ask you for donations. I just ask you simply to go to my website, www.zanna.us, and download any of my songs for just 99 cents. Doing that, you will help the show to stay free. Thank you. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on Guerrilla Media Network.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Hi everybody, this is Luca Zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM, and this is the last final hour of the show. Normally we talk about love and recipes and different things. And, the show, the beautiful things about the show that is pretty much the purpose, at least my idea of the show, was to unite people with different lifestyles, with different even beliefs, but all united in the cause of freedom. That's the idea. We respect each other, and at the end of the day, it's our body, and we're supposed to do whatever we want with our body until we infringe on somebody else's rights. Now, I have a Facebook friend and also a real-life friend, and also somebody that I've been already interviewing as a guest just a few months ago. And it's kind of funny because she's a great lady, and she has her own little philosophy and also beliefs and science, I want to say. She's into medicine and health and wellness about her lifestyle. And sometimes, we kind of laugh at each other, I guess. But regardless, today she's here. Her name is Kristen Harper. Kristen, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous. What about yourself?
I'm doing fine, Kristen. I hope I introduced you well enough. We always laugh around on Facebook about your coffee and your diet. But, I think it's important. That's why the idea of this show was to share different point of views on different topics. All I care that works for everybody, find their ways that works for them. That's and as I said, there is also a point. With freedom comes responsibility. We all must understand, what we do and the benefits we get, and we decide if we want to do it. Now, for the people that out there, maybe they say, what are you talking, Luca? What is all this show about health and stuff? Let's just briefly remind, first of all, you're a listener, and also you're a person that is really active into the health movement, or at least try to get healthy and stay healthy also with your lifestyle. Can you please, how can you identify, is there a name for your, let's say, type of diet that you follow?
Yes, actually, Luca, I've been in the alternative health field I started my business. It's a hair analysis business. I started back in July of 2009. And it's a science. It's called nutritional balancing science.
Mm-hmm.
So basically how it works is I review hair tests, and then a nutritional balancing program is designed based off the hair analysis to balance the minerals in the cells of the body.
Yes.
Because there's cells within the hair, and cells are the major site of metabolic activity. It's not the blood or the urine.
Yes.
So this diet is very strict. I mean, you can't have wheat, no white flour, no sugar, no alcohol, no fruit, no soy.
Okay. So let's, this is something, who started this, there are different schools and different type of theory. Who started this movement? I mean, I'm sure there is somebody that come out with this research or this documentation. I mean, who did that?
Okay, it's so awesome. So it was founded by Dr. Paul Eck back in the early 1970s. He founded Nutritional Balancing Science.
Okay.
Thousands and thousands of hair tests have been reviewed, and he's no longer alive. However, the research has been continued by Dr. Lawrence Wilson.
Okay.
And he doesn't work with clients anymore, but I'm one of his approved practitioners on his website, but he has been reviewing hair tests, Luca, for over 30 years. And the reason I respect him, I don't really believe in too much out there because I tried everything because I was sick as a child. I had adrenal exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, they get sick later on in life and they have to try all these different methods.
Yes.
I've already done all that. I tried drug medicine. I tried naturopathy, and I tried so much out there, herbs, and the list goes on. And then I found Dr. Lawrence Wilson. He lives in Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
His website is drlwilson.com. He has over 1,000 articles. And I found him back in 2001. And, I tried all these different methods, and nobody could give me answers because I had this unrelenting fatigue day after day since I was a child.
Wow.
I called Dr. Lawrence Wilson up because I read this article on adrenal exhaustion. It was one of his articles. I called him up on the phone. Within 5 seconds, he told me, Kristen, you have adrenal exhaustion.
Wow.
How did he know that in 5 seconds when I've been looking and having tests done all my life, most of my life?
So this is interesting. That's why, guys, I want to bring whatever, different point of views and different things that may work for you. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that what Kristen or this doctor is saying is not true at all. I'm sure that there is a lot of documentation and research. The only thing sometimes, it's a question of choices, and I'm sure it's going to work great for probably many of you. It's the point for me, I have two problems personally. Number one is, the coffee. Tell us how you get your coffee.
Okay, so Luca, most people are toxic today. So, and we see this on hair tests all the time. Most people have mineral deficiencies and heavy metal toxicity because there's toxins in our food, our water, our air. There's toxins in body care products that we put on our skin that we're absorbing. There's pesticides and herbicides that have toxic chemicals that are getting into our food and water supply. There's toxins in medical drugs and vaccines. the list goes on, right? So everyone's toxic, including children. So on this nutritional balancing program, there's 2 detox methods that we recommend to remove over 24 of toxic metals and hundreds of toxic chemicals from the body. And the first is coffee enemas.
Okay, one second, because sometimes people say, what did you say? How do you spell that? E-N-E-M-A. Okay, so you get your coffee not in your mouth, but in another part of your body, correct?
Yes. Through the rectum, through the colon.
Gosh, and this is, how many times you got to do it during the years?
I've been doing it since 2006 daily for 9 years.
Wow.
And I don't skip a day. I've been doing this consistently every single day. And I usually do it in the morning.
Oh my gosh. I can't take coffee anymore now if I think that. Anyway, Lisa, Lisa, whatever works for you. At least lucky that we are not in the Middle Ages, because probably if we were trying to do something like that, you would be probably put in the public square and burned alive. That's the interesting things of history. Think about it. Today, still, I hope forever, because unfortunately the government will try to pretty much tell us even how we can cure, heal ourselves, but it's still pretty much freedom to do this in our country, but you never know. And that's what I'm concerned, and that's why I'm here, because the idea, I really believe that we have the right to do to our body whatever we feel like it until we infringe on other people's rights. So if you want to put your coffee in your butt in the morning, that's your right. I mean, seriously. Honestly, and I'm not discussing that, I'm not denying that there are not some benefits. I'm sure there are. It is just, I can't take it. I'm sorry. I can't do that. It's, first of all, I really have problems to insert anything that could be in such a private part. And more important, coffee, something I never would accept it. But hey, if it works for you, make you feel better, right? After you do it?
Yeah, but look at it will remove toxins from the liver and colon, because that coffee, as it goes into your colon, it gets absorbed through the colon wall and goes into your liver.
But at least there must be some other way to get rid of toxins. I can't do that. I'm sorry. That is the point where I draw my line. But anyway, regardless, as I said, this is good, because everybody wants to try this experience. They can call Kristen. And maybe, if you want to try coffee in that way, hey, go. It's still free. Do it, okay? Just do it in a way that I don't need to see it, and it's private, and we're okay with that.
What about sauna therapy? I told you before you would love it.
Sauna probably would be something more interesting. I've done sauna in the past, and honestly, I like it. It's a good feeling. I'm open with that, but no, coffee, I can't do that. And I'll tell you, regardless, even I'm sure that there is a lot of good facts, because I've been studying myself different diets. I was studying different type of approaches. There is the diet type of blood, and I know that wheat has some, especially the modern wheat that has been genetically modified many times. There are some down on this. I'm not saying that you're wrong. It's just at the end of the day, I must put on my balance, my scale of life. Okay, if I do everything you're saying, okay, let's say I follow every rule very strictly. I cannot have fruit. I cannot have pasta. I cannot have pizza. I cannot have once in a while a piece of panettone. I cannot have, red wine or white wine or whatever. I'm going to live maybe 5 years longer. Fine. Guess what? I'm ready to die tomorrow morning if I have to, but I want to die happy with the things I like. All I hope, if I could choose, and I'm not trying to say I want to die, but I tell you something. I had my grandfather, okay, that he was, of course, from Italy, like I am, and he died about almost 90. And the guy pretty much worked all his life, and every day he drank at least about a liter of red wine or white wine from his winery, and every dinner there was pasta, and every day pretty much it was bread, and with all the other stuff. And I'm not saying maybe he could have lived another 20 years. I don't know. All I know that I wish to settle for what my grandfather was able to achieve as a lifestyle and also his quality of life, even with his diet, But as I said, I like people have the chance to try, and they need to experiment what works for them. So if anybody has some sort of a very, interesting curiosity to try this coffee therapeutic, depuratic, or whatever you want to call it, system, call Kristen Harper. How can they reach you, Kristen?
They can go to my website at perfecthealthconsultingservices.com. Mm-hmm. Or they can just call me here in Havasu, which is my number is 928-606-3984.
Okay, perfect. Now, enough about coffee, enema, and diets. Now, I know also you're a listener of the show, and sometimes you have some questions, and normally I don't open the lines because, I try to the show many times is recorded, and more important, I have all these guests, but I like to start to get more calls in, and especially with questions that probably could be good for all the other listeners. I know that you're into guns, so at least you try to be prepared and try to train. What can you tell us about any questions you have for me, if I can humbly help you out with the answers?
Yes, I would say I'm a big fan of your show, and I try to listen to your show every weekend. I think you're wonderful.
Thank you.
But anyways, I'm looking at, because I listened to a previous show, and you had talked about that it's recommended that individuals purchase a handgun, shotgun, and a rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to find out, as far as I'm looking into, I already have a handgun now, but I'm looking into maybe this month is purchasing a shotgun. So I wanted to find out what type of shotgun you recommend.
Okay. First of all, as I said before, very often in my show, there is a way to say, I don't even think it's a proverb, it's a saying, the pistol or the handgun is to protect your person, okay? The shotgun is to defend your castle. But to defend liberty, you need a rifle, because that's true. I mean, in history, that's what the government always did. The first thing they wanted to outlaw were rifles, because the peasants cannot have a shotgun. But the point is, shotgun is still a very good tool, especially for home defense, or to just try to defend your castle or wherever you are. The situation is, shotgun normally is something that could be a little intimidating, especially for a woman or for a young person. It's true, especially the 12 gauge can have some recoil. Regardless, you don't need to shoot or practice with the 00, the full load, because there are different now type of loads. First of all, you have the reduced recoil loads that even when you use the 00, they're pretty much manageable. But with the right training and with the right load, for example, let's say if you are in an household, you can use even bird shots like number 7, number 8, that a short distance, they will be completely devastating against an aggressor or a home invader. Now, what type of caliber? I would stick with the 12 gauge, because even, of course, it's the main caliber that could be normally more hard on recoil if you use the regular loads, but when you put bird shots or you put reduced recoil, you can manage them, number 1. And number 2, you have a basic shotgun that could be always easier to find ammunition. You want to stick with something that is simple, and anywhere around the world or anywhere around the stores, Walmart, you can always find 12 gauge ammunition for shot shells, for the shotgun. Now, what type of shotgun? Normally, there are 2 basic platforms that everybody knows, and they've been proven in many, many years. One is the Remington 870, and then there is, of course, the Mossberg 500 or 590. 590, it's a little bit more upgraded. You have a heat shield and a little more sophisticated. And I would stay with the 590 if I were you. Only thing, I would stay with something that has an 18 inches barrel, not the 20 or 21. The point is you want to keep the weight manageable for a woman. So I don't want to have like 8 plus 1 round in the chamber. I would go like probably the 5 plus 1, 5 rounds in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. So you have a shorter barrel, more manageable, less heavier. So that would be pretty much the story. But then what you need, most important, is training. Because shotgun, especially if you go with the pump action, you need to practice it. And it's not just to let it sit there in front of your bedroom. It's going to keep you safe. It's something that probably takes even a little more training than a pistol. Any question about what I just said?
I don't think so. It's very helpful, and I'm planning on getting training with Jim Leeson here in Havasu.
Perfect. Jim is a great guy. On top, he always... I have him pretty often as a guest. He's an expert, he's an instructor, and I'm glad that he's local and he can help the community here in our county to train. So that's great. And regarding the rifle, we were talking a few days ago about that. At this point, I would tell you something even better. I would start with something that probably is the foundation to learn the basic of a rifleman. And I would start with the Ruger 1022, okay, just with some modification. It's a 22 caliber. People say, oh my God, that's not exactly what you call a rifle. Guess what? It's a great platform, first of all, to learn everything. And you need to put a sling, to be sure that you can do a sling. and then at that point, few magazine and load up on 22 ammo. And the reason why, if you can also add, and something easy to do, an aftermarket front sight and rear sight that they sell, and they're about $60, and you can have the same type of sight picture, that means the same time of front sight and rear sight, like, for example, an AR-15. Now, the benefits of the Ruger 1022 is, first of all, it's one of the most common rifle out there, and with this little modification, with the sling, and with this modified front sight and rear sight, you're training like you were training on a military rifle. The only difference that you're going to pay about $200 for the rifle, so it's very affordable. With a little modification, probably an extra $100 between the sling and this modified aftermarket front sight and rear sight. But then you have a rifle that you can use as a platform to practice the skills to become a rifleman. Now, what I would suggest you, one of the best training is to join any of the Appleseed classes. They do clinics around the country, 2 days clinics, and normally they were free for women, just to let you know. So go to the Appleseed website, and next time they come around, join a class. With that rifle that they call the Liberty Tree rifle, you can attend an Appleseed class that pretty much teaches you the principles of how to become a rifle woman, in this case, shooting from 25 yards. That's why with the 22 rifle is perfect, because they scale down their targets to reproduce in the sights and the sight picture of 100, 200, 300, 400 yards. And in this way, you can practice with the 22 like you were shooting at these different distances. That's the point. So that's pretty much what I would suggest you to do. Any question about that?
No, I don't think so. That's very helpful information, Luca.
Perfect. So listen, I want to say thank you for calling, and congratulations for your coffee there. And have one on me if you don't mind. Meanwhile, let me know when you buy your shotgun and your rifle, okay?
Okay, sounds good, Luca. It was nice being on your show, like always.
Okay, keep us posted. Thank you, Kristen. Bye-bye. And this was Kristen from Lake Havasu, and you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Don't go away. A little bit of music, and we'll come back. Ciao.
Envision your decision. 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 Engage. Resist. Persist. Learn. Share. Rise. Rise. This is your life. Freedom, don't let it die. Rise, don't just survive. Rise, it's our time. La 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 la. La 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 la. La truth. Freedom never dies. Learn the truth. Never die.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman,
I'm not afraid.
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna
I'm not afraid.
and his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we are, final hour, final part of the final hour. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. It's been an exciting show. I mean, every week I really enjoy, even of course, sometimes it's hard, to bring all this information and be understanding what's happening to us as Americans, as human beings, what's happening to the world, what is their plan to enslave us, to completely destroy our rights. At the same time, it's exciting to be here on the front line with you, my friends, to fight together, to try to help each other, to learn from each other, because it is happening under our watch. This generation, for sure, it is probably the final generation, I really believe, a president, I think it was Reagan, said, freedom is always a generation away, or something like that. Regardless, Reagan wasn't perfect, and he's done a lot of wrong things, in my opinion, but regardless, I think he was right on this one. Because the fact is, if we fail right now, who's coming after us, we'll never understand what we had. Because these bastards also write history, remember. They pretty much gonna tell you that the sky, it is not blue. Because if you've never seen the blue sky, if you think that pretty much the sky is gray, or maybe green, whatever they're going to spray with, the new generation is gonna believe that. So, and these people also rewrite history, think about 9/11. It's being taught now in schools. This bunch of lies. They never mention even about Building 7. Think about it. So, it's up to us. It is a big challenge, it's a big responsibility, but also it's a big honor to stand the line together to keep humanity free and to take this republic back. Now, this is, as you know, is the final hour. It's about love and a little bit of peace, and after all this information, And don't get me wrong, it was exciting, second hour about guns. We had an incredible guest, Gun Site, great school. I invite you to train wherever you go, And the first hour, we went to the stars. We were looking at the moon, and we talked with Paul Flores. Now, we talk this final hour with our friend, Kristen Harper. And why I brought her up on this show? Because it's really important to understand even something that seems like a little bit funny, the enema, the coffee in your butt for health purposes. This is not a joke. You can do this stuff in some countries like in Saudi Arabia. Seriously. And probably pretty soon the government will tell you how you can drink your coffee. Right now already they can tell you that you cannot smoke a plant. That's your body. Even I will never take coffee in my butt as an enema, as Kristen does. I don't care. I would give my life to defend Kristen rights to do what she wants with her butt and her coffee. Seriously. And I'm serious here, guys, okay? I'm not trying to be funny. This is a serious matter. This is the cornerstone of freedom. If we do not own our body, we do not own anything. And you know what? Without ownership, there is no freedom. Sorry, I know if you're a socialist or a communist leech, go away. I know you don't want to, pretty much, you're such a failure, you don't even want to us to own anything. I believe in private property, in property right. And more important, remember, the first piece of real estate we own, it is our body. I don't care if you're poor, rich, middle class, whatever class you are. There is not about class. You are a human being. And as a human being, there is one piece of real estate God gave you. And if you don't believe in God, blame it on your mom and dad. Okay? They gave you that piece of real estate. It is your body. Okay? Think about it. I'm supposed to do with my body whatever I please until I infringe on other people's rights. So if I want to smoke, cyanide, it's my business. If I want to eat rat, I don't want to use the word I can use, rat fishes, okay, I will. I don't need a permit from the FDA. Well, if I want to eat raw cheese or raw milk, it's my own damn business, okay? That's it. So, same story with the coffee. That's why I really think it's important to bring Kristen Harper with their scientific system of purification from toxins with coffee enema. Great. It's not for me, but great. Maybe it's for you. So enjoy. This is what exactly the purpose of the show. We do not agree on anything. Only thing we need to agree that we are free human beings and we respect each other. That's it. And what is mine, it's mine. If I wanted to give it to you as a charity, yes, I'll be happy to do it as a charitable act. If you come to me with the coercion of the government because you're such a failure and you're such a coward that you cannot even steal stuff, you gotta ask to, help to, Daddy, government, can you steal that from me? You know what? Go to hell. Seriously. So that's pretty much my philosophy. But regardless, I love you. You know that. This is the hour about love. So let me go back to love. First of all, talking about love, we gotta eat and drink here, okay? I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. I tell you what I'm gonna have after the show it's over. I have a little bit of a very simple recipe I would like to share with you. Simple, delicious, affordable. I understand with this Obamacare we all broke. Guess what? We're still gonna be happy. We're still gonna make it. We'll fight back. So, this is called simple recipe of peas, mushroom, made my way. Honestly, it was even my way. It was my grandmother's way. Anyway, you need first of all peas, okay? Sweet peas. The best way would be to get them fresh. If you can get them fresh, get them organic, and give the middle finger to that bastard of GMO Monsanto, please. Get fresh, organic, hopefully locally grown sweet peas. You know what? Grow your own. Even better. Number one, couple cups. If you cannot get fresh peas, get a can. Try to get organic. I can find organic peas now even at Smith's, okay? So don't worry about it. I'm already getting my mouth. Can you hear it? Kind of completely watery. I'm getting hungry. So you get a peas. You need peas. You need at least half onion. Organic onion. You can grow onions very easy. And then you need, of course, some mushroom. Okay? Try to, I don't grow mushroom, but get good quality mushroom. If you can get, get the best you can. There are organic mushrooms out there. Try always to stick with organic and hopefully not made in Mexico. I mean, nothing wrong with Mexico, but guess what? At least I know what type of garbage I can complain when I get stuff from the US, okay? Because when they say organic, you have to also watch what type of product they use to fertilize. Okay, I don't want to ruin the appetite talking about what do they use in Mexico. Anyway, so we got the ingredients. Mushrooms, peas, half onion. Now, for the vegetarians, ends here. If you like meat, I'm not a meat eater, but I like some turkey. I don't like bacon. I don't like pork, but I like turkey. Or, even little chicken, sliced deli chicken, okay? Get a couple of slices of, this sliced deli turkey or chicken, okay? Now, how do you start? First of all, you get a pan, and you get some oil, couple tablespoons of oil, extra virgin olive oil, I like, it's my favorite, as you know. And then you want to do, you start to pretty much warm up the oil, heat up the oil, okay? Then you put the onion, simple as that. You put the onion to start to make a sauté. Now at that point, I put immediately the mushroom, okay? Because the mushroom is going to take a little longer. If the peas are in the can, they're pretty much almost cooked. If they are fresh, you start with the peas, okay? So let's say we have fresh peas. You got the onion, sauté the onion, then put the peas inside. At that point, I'll put at the same time also the mushroom. So simple, so simple. So you get mushroom. Don't forget to add a little water in case you have to. You don't want to burn them. But the first few minutes, you want to saute the onion without anything, okay? Then you add mushroom, you add peas, and then at that point, let's say, you don't even need to wait too long. You can get these little slices of turkey, deli turkey, or chicken deli. Try to get good quality without the, preservatives. And you put it inside. Little sea salt and bell pepper. Excuse me, and ground pepper. I'm sorry, getting hungry. At that point, guess what? In less than 10 minutes, you have a beautiful, simple piselli coi funghetti. Peas with mushroom. Okay? And nice glass of white wine if you like. I like white. And guess what? For me, it's meal. Okay? So, think about it. You don't need to go to the restaurant, spend a lot of money, or, have your private chef, or your private whatever. You can do yourself. That's great. Now, I would like to remind you that beside food, we also, as human beings, we need love. Okay? You can't just live by only food, but we need to live also with love, interaction, friends. Okay? Don't be like me. I'm a complete asocial. Try to be more social than me, okay? So I created a website. I already told you many times, but this is the way I need to remind you, especially if you're new. It's called www.freedomlovers.us. freedomlovers.us. If you go to my website, lovegunsfreedom.com, there is a banner. Now, what is about this site? Very simple. First of all, it's free. And I mean really free. I'm never going to ask you for a dime. Unless you want to donate, that's another story. I am not like the government. We are not like the government. This radio station, this program that I produce, it is not like NPR, National Propaganda Radio, that they start your money through the government, billions of dollars during the years without your consent. No, we're here because it's called free market. If you want to support us, it's up to you. We offer you a product, service, information, love. And if you want to help us out, it's up to you. So, same story with the website. freedomlovers.us, it's a complete free site. It is not just the only dating site for freedom-loving singles. That's a good start, but it's not just for freedom-loving singles. It is for everybody who loves freedom. So, even if you're already married, you got a girlfriend, a boyfriend, or a threesome, whatever you like, I don't care, okay? I'm not here to judge. It's your life. But even if you're already, committed, we are on freedomlovers.us. We want to meet each other, to create networks, to create friendship, to sell. There is a free classified section, completely free. Please, use it. There is a free blog. Blog your post. Put your messages. Put your information. Put your thought. Communicate. Let's try to learn from each other, but also let's try to share what we know to people that probably need some help. Okay? We have a free video messenger system. So you can video messaging privately with your friends. Video phone. You can also make phone calls for free. Okay? Seriously. Use it. I built it with my love. Okay? There is chat rooms. There is so much. You can post photos. Go to freedomlovers.us. That's the bottom line. We need to start to really find each other right now in our communities and also around the world. Whoever believes in freedom. Now, be careful. There are also scammers out there, okay? The Nigerian scam is everywhere. I'm not trying to go, I don't have all the resources to monitor every post they put. So whenever you start to see these emails coming, hey dude, you look cute and all this stuff, be careful. There's always the Nigerian scam. But just avoid them and find each other. So freedomlovers.us, created with love by myself, Luca Zanna. How to support all this? It's up to you. All I said, you can go first of all to my website, Zanna, ZANNA.us, and you can download any of my songs for 99 cents. Or you go to my other website, ZANNAart.com. And you can download not only my songs, but also you can see also my other creations. I'm into paintings, and you can get anything you see there. That's the way I work. I don't want free stuff. I want to offer you something. Something is valuable. And that's why we're here, to help each other. So that's pretty much the story. Now, since I'm already hungry and I'm waiting to end the show, normally I like to bring the food. This is my studio after all. I can do whatever I damn please. FCC, beside, of course, FCC lingo, I need to comply. But so if I want to eat in my studio, I do it. But right now, I didn't want to eat while I'm talking for your respect. I'll try to avoid that. So I can sing. So what I wanted to do this final hour, since it's a little bit about music and relaxing after all this interesting news that we had, I wanted to share with you my new, I don't want to call it hobby, because I do this kind of seriously, like whenever I do everything, I try to be serious. Something I enjoy in doing it. And I tell you also why. It brings me memory, why I like to do it. I write songs, that my songs mostly, they are political songs, Don't Tread on Us, and Wake Up America, and the Second Amendment, Remember the Alamo, Get Us Out of the United Nations. I mean, my songs. You go out, find out, Google. Beside that, I write also romantic songs. You can find out about that too. There is also another part. It's the Italian-serenades. And why I'm so attached to this type of music. Because when I grew up in Italy, I grew up with my, grandfather, part of my childhood. I used to go to his office in Anzio. This is my grandfather from my mother's side, Bruno. And he has his office. He was a businessman, but also he was some sort of a poet, some sort of, artistic man in his own way. And he had this guitar hanging by his studio, his office. And every time I was coming to say hi, granddad, how you doing? And then also always gave me 5,000 lira. Every time I used to go there, he gave me a little bribe. It was so nice. So he also played for me the songs that he loved. And of course he was from another generation. And he loved all the songs from the 50s, from the 40s. Very corny song for me at the time, but I liked them. Somehow I was kind of interested, excited, even just to, wow, my grandfather can sing. And there was a song, many songs, but some that really caught my attention was Il Tango delle Capi Nere. There was a song that talks about Arizona, of course in Italian. And I never imagined in my life that, first of all, I would have ended up really in Arizona, like I am now. But when I came here, and of course, I started to learn English and my new life, even, of course, I'm 100% American, and I gave up also my other citizenship. One thing we don't need to deny, it's our roots. It's beautiful, That's why we are the melting pot, after all we're supposed to be. So the idea was that, I'm here, but still, regardless, of course, I'm an American. I have my roots. I have what I like, my food, my music. And of course, the serenades was something I brought with me. Now I'm launching a new service. I say, oh my God, another one. Look, I don't stop. Yes, I don't stop. Life is short. We got to use every second we have doing things we like, or at least things that we want to enjoy. And I think can make other people happy and be happy. And this is my part of love today, trying to follow your dreams. It's never too late. Whatever you like, of course, things that don't, infringe on other people's rights. I'm talking whatever you may enjoy for yourself and is not dangerous to others, pursue it. Do it. For me, singing serenade is not even like, it's not a job. It's a pleasure. It's almost honoring my grandfather. And, closing my eyes for a moment and thinking about my childhood, the place where I was born, where I was raised. And all the moments I had, the good moments, the tougher moments, but still part of my past that helped me out to become who I am in my present. So today, first of all, I would like to remind you, I will start again next week to dedicate serenades over the phone to people. How does it work? First of all, don't be shy. I'm here for you, and I want to really give you a beautiful gift. If you are somebody that would like to give like a special surprise to your mom, to your boyfriend, to your girlfriend, You want to pretty much hire, and I say hire is not the right word because I'm here for free. For you, my listeners, I'm not going to charge you. Think about it. I will become your personal private serenader. Okay? So what happens? You send me an email. You go to my website, lovegunsfreedom.com. There is my email there on the homepage, zanna@zanna.us. You send me an email with the phone number and the name of the person that you want to impress, and you want to dedicate a serenade. Yes, I will be calling that special person on your behalf. I will also share a message. I will introduce myself as Luca, the Italian serenader. Don't worry, I'm not going to start to talk to her or to him about the New World Order, about guns. I'm not going to freak him out. That moment, I will just talk about love and music, okay? So don't stress out. And I will call the special person, give him your message as an ambassador of love, and then, of course, I will sing a serenade for them. And I will record all this interaction. And then I'll send it back to you, and we will play it on the show. It's beautiful. It's free. I'm the Italian serenader, and this could be for anybody in the world. This is not just for my American listeners or for my Arizona listeners. Anybody in the world, because I can call anybody through Skype. Let's use this technology for a good purpose. Let's share love. Let's share a good message. Let's say to the special person, hey, I care about you. I love you. I miss you. I'm sorry I was a jerk just 2 hours ago. Because you know what? I'm not perfect. Okay? Nobody's perfect. We got our ups and downs. We got our moments of, humanity, stress, chemtrails, too much coffee sometimes, too much bad news. It's just very stressful. The economy sucks. Guess what? We fight back. And when we make mistake, we apologize and we move on and we try to be better. That's my philosophy. Now, I would like to do this little serenade for you live. And this is a song that really my grandfather never sang to me because it is kind of a recent song, or at least it wasn't one of my grandfather's repertoire. But I will sing you this first, and then we will go to one of his songs, okay? Now, the song I want to sing to you is called Caruso by Lucio Dalla. Lucio Dalla is, it's a modern songwriter and singer, the last 20 years, 30 years. And it's a beautiful song. It talks about this Caruso, this famous Italian singer that went to America. And nostalgic song. It's a love song. I'm not going to really translate it. You can always find the translation or somewhere on the internet. Just put Caruso by Lucio Dalla. Now, I'll give you my version, okay? And hopefully you enjoy it. You relax. And for a moment, we put the New World Order and all these bastards on the side because we're going to now recuperate our energy. So, after our meal, after our bottle of wine, after our love, tomorrow we will be stronger and we will be back on their face. Meanwhile, we got to enjoy life a little bit. So here we go. Caruso by Lucio Dalla, sung live. I'm singing live right now, okay? By myself, Gianluca Zanna, for you, my listeners of Love, Guns, and Freedom. Here we go. Caruso. Here we go. Qui dove il mare luccica e tira forte il vento, su una vecchia terrazza davanti al golfo di Sorrento, un uomo abbraccia una ragazza dopo che aveva pianto, poi si schiarisce la voce e ricomincia il canto. Te voglio bene
assai, ma tanto, tanto, tanto bene sai, è una catena ormai che scioglie sangue dentro e ne sai.
You made me almost cry this song every time. Here we go, final part. Vede le luci in mezzo al mare, penso alle notti là in America, ma erano solo le lampade nella bianca scia di un'elica. Senti il dolore nella musica, si alzò dal pianoforte, ma quando vide la luna uscire da una nuvola, gli sembrò più dolce anche la morte. Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto, tanto, tanto bene sai, è una catena ormai che scioglie sangue dentro e ne sai, dentro e ne sai, dentro e ne sai. Listening to Love, Guns and Freedom, my friends, with Luca Zanna. Don't go away, stay tuned.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Okay. Hopefully you enjoyed the little serenade. That was me singing live here with a little bit of cold, but no excuses. You know, the show must go on. Cold or not cold. Anyway, guys, we last few minutes. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom. I want to tell you, first of all, thank you. Thank you for the honor to be here with you and you listening, hopefully, and interacting with each other. I would like to get more phone calls. You know very well that most of my shows, I produce them and I distribute them around to radio stations or to internet. So I try to also get the input, of course, through emails or Facebook. And if you want, please go to my Facebook page. You can go there, become my Facebook friend, and I would like to get you on the show. So the best way, send me an email if you want to be on the show, if you have something to say, even critics, honestly, I like to have people that have different opinions from me, and that's great. Just be polite, I will be polite. Otherwise, if you want to be a jerk, don't forget, I have the master's degree in cussing, and compared to you, you pretty much compared to me, you may be probably at the kindergarten. Seriously. Of course, I'm not saying that we're gonna cuss, but we respect each other, and that's all I care, okay? And honestly, I enjoy very much people that we have differences, especially when people have some brain, and we can at least articulate some dialogues, that's fine. If you're just a commie, or if you're a bushoid, or if you're just a zombie that your IQ is pretty much, level, it's a room temperature, I'm not going to waste my time, okay? That's all I'm saying. And I'm not a genius, by the way. I'm pretty stupid, but I don't want to waste time with people that are dumber than I am, okay? So, this is the final part. So I want to say again, please go to visit my website, lovegunsfreedom.com. There are archives, and I really need your help. I need your help to share this message. I would like to share this show. I believe this show has potential, can go bigger. I was looking at my listeners. They're growing so much, through Spreaker, through Guerrilla Media Network, also on the radio. I see on Facebook. It's amazing, and the reason why we're here, we want to reach out our fellow humans, our fellow Americans, to wake them up. Say, guys, we're in danger. This is not a game. This is not entertainment. We're all going to be slaves, and I really mean it. I'm serious. That's why I'm here. It is an act of love. Nothing else. Nothing else, my friends. I could say today is Sunday after all, or even during the week, when I produce the show, I could use this time doing things for my selfish reasons. I could go to the range. I could go to jog. I could spend time, in my orchard, or just relaxing instead of talking and getting mad sometimes, all these things. But we have to do our part. Seriously. Especially if you got kids. Think about it. We're going to let them live in a world that's going to be like a nightmare. Think about it. Seriously. That's what I'm saying, okay? So, this is the hour about love, and I'm going to leave you right now. Again, as I said, this show, it is not using your tax dollar. If you want to support it, you have a great way, simple way. Go to www.zanna.us and download any of my songs for just 99 cents. Now, don't forget, if you want to be part of my serenade, free for you, my listener. Normally I charge people. That's the way also I pay bills. Well, guess what? But it's free for you. Send me an email, and I will contact a special person, and during the final hour of Love, Guns, and Freedom, I will call the person, serenade them, share your message of love, and put them on the air, and make them cry, make them smile, make them be happy, and we all can have a beautiful, happy kumbaya moment, okay? How does it sound that? And meanwhile, I'm preparing my bottle of wine, ready to go, because it's lunchtime. Okay, so today, as I said, I share with you already the recipe. It's funghi con piselli and a little bit of turkey. I say funghetti coi piselli, funghettini coi pisellini. All right, Mom, I know you're listening. I know my mother is listening. Ciao, Mamina, un bacione. Love you. And don't go away too far. Next week, God's willing, I'll be back, and we have exciting guests. I'm really having some exciting guests. I had a chance to talk and to interview the father of Michael New, Private Michael New, the man who stood, the soldier who stood against the United Nations 20 years ago. And also I had the opportunity to interview Joel Scousel, incredible guest. And there is also another incredible guest there, the founder, one of the organizer of DARA, Venetian, from Navajo County for the Constitutional County Project. We got amazing guests coming down, okay? So don't go away. Go back to listen to the shows if you want on the archive section, but warm up for next Sunday. Exciting show coming through, okay? Wow, I'm hungry. I better go. Ciao, guys. Bye-bye.
Don't tread on us. We're not afraid. You work for us. We're not your slaves. Don't tread on us. You cross the line. Soon you will pay for all your crimes. Don't tread on us. We're not afraid. You work for us. We're not your slaves. Don't tread on us. You crossed the line.